Welcome in, everyone. This is the Divinity League for Titan Esports, and we are here at the Grand Finals. As come all the way down to this from this split, I'm Caleb Pang. I'm joined by Rap on the color commentary side of things. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm excited to be back with Titan, and what a better way to come back than right into a grand final. I'm so excited for this, and I'm so excited to see how these teams do. I know it was quite a banger for them both getting here through the playoffs, and I think this series will go the distance.
Yeah, let me break it down for anyone that's just tuning in to Divinity League or needs a quick reminder of how these two teams got here. So, Conduit, Retribution, and TFF Alfstronauts. Now, here's a really interesting thing, right? Besides, obviously, the regular season, but then we went into a top 8 for the playoffs, quarterfinals, semifinals, and of course, we have the grand finals. And in the quarterfinals, Conduit, Retribution, 3-2 versus Foolsbury, taking the distance all the way to Game 5. TFF Alstronauts 3-2 against Monkey Tropics. So both going to game number 5 in the quarterfinals. Then the semifinals, TFF Alstronauts takes it to game 5 against Monkey Supreme, taking that win in the 5th game. And then Conduit Esports Retribution takes it 3-2 against their partner org, Conduit Esports Flux, 3-2 as well. So both these teams have been playing straight just 5 games back-to-back weeks. And I don't know. I feel like we're teeing up for a final game 5 this here tonight, but we'll have to see how that goes. It is a best of 5, of course. So for those that are unfamiliar with that, that is the format. We'll head over to the draft right now because I think we're going to get game number 1 on its way, especially if it's going to go to game number 5. We might as well get started right here and now. And we got Conduit Retribution with the first ban, first pick, and then TFF Alstronauts on the red side.
Yeah. So Twitch already on the chopping block, starting this out. No one wanting to see the rat. Gwen as well. Gwen been very strong. I've seen her all over the place, and there's been a lot of talk in the community about how powerful she is. So no surprise there. Hui also going very strong pick. So not surprised. A lot of these very solid picks in the meta right now, just getting out of the ways, making it easy. A Moo gone. And I'm interested to see where both of these teams kind of focus their attention on the draft. Like, obviously, we're seeing the Mel. Okay, Mel's gone. That makes sense. Mel's also very strong right now. Still, despite being out for a month, still people are getting used to playing her. So,
yeah,
no surprise. And the Mord. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. And especially in the Divinity League as well, too, right? For those that don't know, it's Emerald 4 or below. So a lot of times, some of the bans and picks are based more on comfort picks than anything else. So sometimes hyper meta stuff might slip through the cracks of the ban phase if you have a pretty good read on your opponent, knowing that, maybe their jungler doesn't have a Skarner up their sleeve, right? And so that might slip through, whereas in maybe other leagues it would not. This is also a fearless draft for those that are just joining in, which means that just like the pro scene this season as well too, any champs picked in any of the previous games cannot be used in future games. So we can have up to a total of 50 unique champions today if possible. But yeah, we have the Cassiopeia first pickup for TFF Alstronauts, and we get the Jinx Lulu pairing for Conduit.
Yeah, no surprise there. Lulu is arguably the strongest support in the game right now. Just low-key rolling through, especially in the lower elos where people don't really respect the whimsy, respect the polymorph. And I think that's a solid place to go. We have Seraphine Senna on the other side of the response. So getting that scaling, that healing, that shielding to kind of match the Lulu, I think this is also good to counter her with the extended range in the poke. The Victor, I was actually going to say, I was hoping we'd get to see this. Victor is a very solid pick. Ever since his little update, he's been in a good spot. His animation improvement's been nice. And it's just, Victor's scaling is good. It counters Cassiopeia's scaling. They're both going to scale up very well. And I think that's something that, Sir's got to rely on for the late game. So I think it's good to see. Now we're going to see a lot of the top and jungle bans coming through here. The Mbessa, the Garen, top and jungle still open for both these teams. They're putting a lot of priority on that for the counter pick. So Camille gone as well. And I'm wondering, with this far, okay, 5 top laners actually banned over 6 technically with Gwen. So I wonder what they're gonna be picking here.
Yeah, I think just trying to really limit the pool here for both top laners. Ultimice and Gab Dougie Fresh. Both of them playing really good games in the previous series we've seen. So we get the Xin Zhao pickup, really strong, especially for the disengage purposes. Definitely probably looking to pick up a heavier front line for Conduit to be rounded out. I mean, actually for both teams, neither really are running any tanks. A lot of range on both sides of things. So I guess that kind of evens out in some ways, but Conduit does have the counter pick option for this top side.
Okay, Aatrox getting locked in there for TFF. So I'm expecting something a little bit safer in lane for Sir. I think a tank would be good. I think okay, Malphite. Okay, that's not a bad pick. I actually think that's good. I was gonna say Maokai, but close enough. Malphite.
Yeah. I like to say they're cousins, even though I know the lore doesn't justify that. But
they should just be. But that's a solid pick. It's just got to get through the early game. I think that's going to be the difficult point. I feel like Malphite's early game isn't quite the strongest compared to Aatrox at least. But to the late game, it's great. There's really nothing on TFF's side to stop a Malphite. I mean, Cassiopeia can't really ground a rock that's unstoppable. Can't stun him. So late game, I'm fully expecting it's gonna really be on Doogie to get this. I mean, to really set up and start team fights. It's gonna be on him to not feed the Aatrox, get ready, get later into the game, and prepare to, really set up the team. And for everyone else, it's just about scaling. Like Titan Duff's whole job this game is just to prevent Swevel from finding opportunities to get ganks and get leads. I feel like Sir will outscale them. I feel like with a Jinx and a Victor, they will outscale, especially with this being support Senna. I think they will outscale TFF, but it's going to be on the Xin Zhao to really stop Jarvan from getting anything going, and already getting a nice little trade in the mid lane on Alf.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I was actually thinking about that too. I was like, maybe there's a small off chance that it's going to be the Senna in that ADC position. But ever since that rework too, Senna's probably not the best there. Could be still getting a decent amount of damage over time for sure. But comp looks pretty good. Out of the two, which comp do you kind of favor in this specific matchup?
I really do favor Sir. I think the Victor Jinx will just be a better late game option for them, especially with Alpha already at half health in the lane. Is going to get kind of forced out and is going to start falling behind. I would not be surprised to see that. But I think their comp just does scale better. Jinx is always going to be, like, she's just such a strong AD carry, especially with Lulu. And I just don't really think TFF has the tools to deal with them.
Yeah, definitely. We're getting a lot of damage coming out in that mid lane matchup too from Darison into Alf. So Alf really going to struggle a bit, but has been in worse positions before in the past, I'm sure. So going to do his best to CS in this specific situation. This bot lane is going to be pretty annoying, I think, for Conduit, especially with the range of both the Senna and the Seraphine. But like you said, I think if they get to the late game, it's going to be a pretty good spot for them to be in. But I think TFF's going to do their best to really limit the snowball potential of this Jinx.
I agree. 100%. That's really what they've got to do. They've got to force the Jinx back. Oh, and it's the wonderful arcane Jinx skin.
Definitely, yeah.
I always liked it when I see skins I don't get to see that much in game. A lot of these other champions, especially in this bottom lane, I play a lot of, so I see their skins a lot. I don't see a lot of that Jinx skin, so kind of nice to get to see something new. Speaking of seeing something new, we're seeing some same old with both junglers kind of matching each other, clearing their camps, and I fully expect that we're going to start seeing them make out their way bottom. We might see a gank attempt here. We might even see the counter gank too. So it might be a 6-man fight in the bot lane in a moment.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting game, I think, for TFF to execute on because they don't have a lot of really hard engage outside that J4, right? So I think J4 is probably going to be looking for that Jinx anytime Ultimice or anytime Swevel is roaming around in the area. But I think as long as Bam avoids that, that could be pretty good for them. Meanwhile, I really like that final Malphite pick on the side of Conduit because it does give them the engage they need as well as that tankiness that they're looking for as well. Looks like there might be a slight fight breaking out here, but the Pop Blossom is going to get Titan Duff to safety. Darison now is in trouble, though. Flash forward as well from Alf, and unfortunately not able to pick up the kill on Darison. But actually, no, that was a flash forward from Barlow, actually. on the Senna. So Senna roaming here too. But because of that, Chrome alone is kind of in a little bit of trouble. Gives a little eases off a little pressure for this bot lane for Conduit at least. So finally, this Jinx can get some of this farm. Actually, I gotta say, Bam actually staying ahead of the Seraphine in CS, which is quite nice to see, given the lane state.
Yeah, and that's a good position for Bam to be in. Not really getting forced out with the poke, still getting to farm. And I think that whole fight, it did cost flashes on both sides, plus the ignite from Barlow. Uh, Makes sense. You know, they were a little disjointed. It looked like everyone was really unsure if they wanted to keep going or not, and they kind of backed out. It's that early game of like, do we fight now? Is this a good opportunity? Will we give up a big lead? And speaking of a fight in bot lane right here, Bam! Oh, a lot of damage.
Yeah, getting really low right here, and is going to get to safety for a bit, but we'll probably have to recall soon, especially with Barlow back in lane. The pressure's back on too. I gotta say too, as well as looking at the mid lane CS too, Alpha has done a pretty good job, given especially how tough the start was on getting chunked a decent amount of health, but only 3 CS behind this Victor from Darison. So things are looking pretty good overall. Malphite obviously struggling a little bit in the top lane against Aatrox, but to be expected in the early game.
Yeah, we were worried about it, but he is starting to catch up in CS. He's down 11 still, now 10, but you know, it's Malphite early game, like we said. His early game is a rough spot to be in, especially into Aatrox. Aatrox basically has 3 abilities at level 1 with the Q cast, so makes sense. And all he has to do is just not feed. As long as he gets to late game and can just ult, that's all that matters. And he's doing good. He's rock solid right now in that lane.
Yes, indeed. The proper elements for sure. Looks like TFF is going to grab this first Mountain Drake. Not going to be contested. Probably going to see Conduit start roaming over to the Grub side of things. However, Shinzao is actually in on his blue side of the jungle. So
Ooh.
if they're sneaky with it, they could potentially. Oh, we got a first blood actually off screen
Oh,
as well too. So maybe be able to get a replay on that one. But Alf, I think that's the solo 1v1 first blood, which is really solid for Alf too. Especially like I said, given that rough early starts, that lead is dwindling pretty quickly off of that kill.
yeah, and it looked like Alf almost died too. The Victor ult just too slow without Victor being up to really catch for that last tick. But good on Alf to win the 1v1, especially with now having the lost chapter. At the time, it was just the tier and the mana crystal. So good on him to win that. And you know, it's just going to make it a little bit rough, I feel, for the Victor. Darison's going to have to deal with that. They're coming back with lost chapters. Is going to be casting a lot. That could be annoying, but the rest of Sir is up on this top side looking for an opportunity. They might have it onto Ultimise.
All right, we got 3 members heading up to Ultimise. Ultimise is going to snuff this out with that ward in the bush. He's going to go back to safety, but at least Conduit is here for the set of grubs. I don't know if TFF is going to be greedy enough to try to contest this, especially without vision, and especially Ultimise already have health, but looks like they might be going in here. The polymorph does come through. Ultimise is going to drop the world ender, but does go down pretty quickly to Gav Dougie fresh, and Gav Dougie is in a slight bit of trouble, but the rest of the team is there. Gav does go down to Alf's Cassiopeia, though. So 1-for-1 trade so far, but the position looks pretty good for TFF so far. Darison can definitely poke with some of those lasers, but Titan Dove is kind of low. It looks like TFF is going to try to go for at least maybe one of these grubs to deny any progress on the feats of monster slaying on the side of Conduit. But yeah, they're just trying to sandwich this team so far, and looks like 4 members are here though. Ultimise is TPing back in, so this looks like they're going to secure all the grubs onto the side of TFF, unless Titan can maybe grab a
Ooh.
steal. No, it is actually going to be secured by the Aatrox, but was it too greedy? And they actually grabbed the feats of warfare from the side of the Cassiopeia, and the Senna goes down as well. Now to the Lulu. Another kill goes over to the Aatrox as well. The fight is continuing to go forward. Darison's now going to run for his life as he is now outnumbered. But overall, really good fight for TFF there. Grabbing all the grubs and grabbing the feats of warfare strength as well too. So they're pretty much just one objective away from the feats of strength.
Yeah, and they only lost one in that fight, so not a bad situation to be in. Knowing that they didn't really lose much. I feel like Sir, especially at the beginning here, as we because not quite at the beginning, but I felt like the issue was that they really needed Lulu and and Jin Zhao to go forward with Malphite to start this off. And now that he doesn't have ult anymore, the rocket lands, they're going in, they're looking for the engage, but they really don't have a lot of tools. And Darrison is just so far away. He really doesn't even get to contribute to this fight, like throughout the entire time. He only gets to help a little bit at the end there. And Alf just lands a beautiful ultimate, grounds the entire team so they can't get away, and just mows them down. And now you have Cassiopeia starting to get a little fed. I was saying Victor, can kind of match her, but if you give her 3 kills, it's going to be a little hard. And she's almost got a stacked Archangels already.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is definitely Conduit's game to win in the late game, but if TFF keeps up this pressure, that's definitely going to be really good for them to snowball this out of control for the side of things. Alf has been playing fantastic all season long, and no surprise too. 3-0-1 to start things off, so making this mid lane matchup a little bit harder. Titan Duff is starting to help out a little bit against Saracen, but is going to back off here. Alf already with that level advantage, so making this lane going to be a little bit harder for this Victor. Swevel is on his way, and here comes the J4. The ultimate does come through as well, forcing the flash from Darrison. Darrison's going to be hugging the turret here for a little bit of safety, but grabbing that summer spell is going to be nice for later.
Yeah, he saved the flash until just as the miasma was coming down from Alf to get away before it fully went down, and gets the ult out of Swevel. So good use there. Won't have the flash, so could be ganked again, but no Jarvan ult at least means he's going to have a little bit harder time going to any of these side lanes looking for opportunities, which should give Dougie and Bam some room to really open up their lanes each to be a little bit more aggressive. And Dougie already kind of getting aggressive up here on the top side against Ultimize.
All right, yeah, and this 1-1 skirmish is going to come through. World Ender is popped as well. Looks like Gav Dougie Fresh is going to try to run out here as soon as possible and does get to safety. Did have his ultimate up too, so if it really need to throw to get to safety, would have been done. So action does not stop though in this bot lane here, as we can see both junglers are rotating over, not only just for the Drake objective, but just putting some additional pressure. The mid laners are here as well too, and it looks like Lulu is going to get caught right away. Chrome Malone's going to take that kill. Titan Duff doing whatever he can and does grab Chrome Malone. A second kill goes over to Titan Duff as well. The Jinx is excited, and we get a shutdown going over to Victor. Alp is going to go down, but the Dawning Shadow is going to snipe out Bam on that Jinx. At least something goes the way of TFF, but overall, that was a fantastic fight for Conduit as they're going to grab their first objectives on this Infernal Drake.
Yeah, Sir finally managing to find the fight. Titan coming up huge there. And they're going to get the dragon out of it. They get the shutdown on Alf. I think that went over to Darrison, so that should kind of get them back into this lane a bit. And yeah, with that, Infernal secured. They may have lost the first objective, to get the specialty boots, the first feat, but they're kind of fighting back into this, and they might have an opportunity to at least get one of the other two now with the dragon on the board, though they might just lose it right here if TFF just gets all these grubs.
Yeah, it looks like TFF is going to grab all these uncontested. Titan Duff's not in the area, so they are going to secure the feats of strength and 6 grubs to their name, which is definitely going to really help their pushing power and, really putting the game pressure on for this side of Conduit. But that being said, I think the game is still fairly close, especially if you're looking at the goal. But let's take a quick look at the replay and how this all went down.
Yeah, so you watch it. Titan going right on in, goes right for the Seraphine. They waste that ult on to kill the Lulu, and that just gives them plenty of space with no way to get out. Gets right on top of the Jarvan there, and then by that point, Alf's in the fight, but there's three damage dealers there just to shred them up. The Senna on the back end to pick up a kill, so it's not too against their favor, but overall was just unfortunate timing. Alpha just coming in too late, not really able to exert that 3-1 stat, that 3-0 at the time stat line to really win that fight out. But good on Sir to capitalize on an opportunity. They saw it. Titan Duff saw the one opportunity to get on Chrome alone, and now finds another opportunity onto the Jarvan.
The Cataclysm comes through on Darison, but it's actually going to be Swevel that actually flashes out of his own Cataclysm. The kill goes over to Titan Dove. However, he's taking quite a few turret shots, and Alf's going to clean it up there, grabbing a kill 1-for-1. Both junglers being traded, but there's still going to be more fights coming through. World Ender is coming out from Ultimize. Gab Dougie Fresh wants no business of this. Infernal Chains is going to pull Gab Dougie Fresh back in, and Ultimize is going to chase him down, forcing Gab Dougie Fresh's flash through into that red buff there. Darison's doing a little bit poke damage onto Ultimize, but overall, still a 1-for-1 trade on both sides. And the gold differential under pretty much just a little over 1,000 there over to the side of TFF Alfstronauts, but quite negligible, I gotta say, compared to the overall state of the game here. So things are looking pretty good overall for TFF Alfstronauts, but again, it's kind of a ticking time bomb against this composition of Conduits.
Yeah, it's just, you know, they're on the clock. Gotta get things moving. If they keep it even, they're losing because Jinx will outscale DPS wise over Chrome Alone and Barlow. So it's gonna really be on TFF to find more opportunities. I really think they just need to keep throwing eggs into the Alf basket. Alf is really going to be the main damage threat for the team. So need to keep that. Oh, look, there they go. Getting another kill.
All right, yeah, and we're going to see if we can grab a replay of that as well. It did happen off screen, but Alpha is getting pretty scary strong on this Cassiopeia. Has no significant level advantage or whatsoever, but just playing really well in a lot of these fights. So even the time when Alpha died, what I really liked is he was still focusing on that Jinx whenever he can, because he was like, you know what, if I'm going to go down, I'm at least going to soften up this ADC and try to grab a kill on my way out, which did at least translate for a kill for Barlow on that Senna. But looking at this bot lane as well too, CS pretty even across the board as well, as we see the Black Cleaver being completed on the Senna. And let's take a quick look at the replay on how, I believe Titan Duff was one that went down in this particular fight.
Oh, I think this was the earlier fight.
Oh, this was actually the early fight. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So
this is when Duff gets that big pick onto the Jarvan, who Cataclysm's in, but just immediately regrets that into Victor. Titan Duff sacrifices his life just to secure the kill, and we'll trade it back to Alf, and that's okay. That we kind of thought that was going to happen, but at least gets the trade back. And I want to see how Titan died, because it looked like a solo.
I think it was Alf. Took him out in a solo kill in mid lane there. Swevel is in this bottom bush trying to set up a gank, but the bot lane of Conduit is not going to be there for that one. Meanwhile, Titan Duff might be caught in a tough position here. It's going to be sandwiched from Alpha on the middle side of the river as well. Titan Duff in a very tough position. Cataclysm is going to be dropped as well, as Titan Duff is going to be taken out here. Oh, the Jink Rock is over hands, but Chrome Alone flashes out just in time. Dawning Shadow is going to come through as well. Infernal Chains is going to pull Darison back in as Ultimice's World Ender is ongoing. Gab Dougie Fresh is quite low on this Malphite and is going to be taken down from Swevel. Ultimice wants more, is going to continue chasing Darison, but doesn't want to chase too far. The Blast Cone is going to get Draco to safety for now. But the position looks pretty good for TFF Alfstronauts for this Drake. However, let's see. Yeah, and Swevel is here, so it's going to be a pretty hard one to contest from the side of Conduit. Conduit, I think, just needs to slow down the pacing a little bit here. 2-for-2 trade, but the objective does go over to the side of TFF. They did grab a shutdown at least onto the Cassiopeia.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to get the shutdown, but still just being a little too aggressive. They really need to front to back it. Titan Duff going in and finding some good opportunities, but no one is, there around to follow up with it and cost him his life. Darison's really not at that point yet where it can just walk forward on the Victor and just murder anybody. Still needs to scale up, still needs to hit those augment stacks to get that glorious evolution going. And you really need Dougie there to really start the fight out with Titan. Needs to go in so they can just nuke somebody to begin it all out and go from there. But still a good start to the game for TFF, and Sir still in it, only down 3,000 gold. There's still opportunities for them to get back all the way in. It's just going to depend if they can really really slow it down, like you were saying.
Yeah, definitely. And it looks like another objective is going to be going over to the side of TFF. TFF really just building on top of their lead as fast as possible here, and definitely doing whatever they can here. 2 Drakes are named, 6 Scrubs, and a Rift, as well as the Feats of Strength being over there as well. Looks like we're going to swap some of these lanes. Ultimize is going to be in this bottom lane. Can definitely be pretty solid, actually. Bam, only 1 level behind as well. And 3 members trying to set up a gank here on Ultimize. I don't know if Ultimize knows this or not, but he's going to play a little bit carefully as they don't have vision on other members across the map. Ultimize is getting poked out a bit here, but this might be a hard Aatrox to dive under turret. They could get some damage on this turret at the very minimum.
Yeah, I think they can, and Ultimize is strong, but it's a little hard a position for Aatrox to be in because Lulu is here, and as long as Lulu exists, just assume that you're going to get silenced with the poly as soon as you walk in. It's really the only thing that's going to happen, and then you'll die because it's a Jinx, and she's got Utals. The fight breaking out here in mid.
Oh, wow. And then Titan Duff does go down. Swivel is going to drop the Cataclysm, and then a double kill going over to Swivel there is going to pick up the Victor as well. So looking like they're probably going to maybe even drop the Rift Herald on this mid lane, having cleaned up this wave, cleaned up 2 of the enemy champs as well. Gavduggy going to do whatever he can to slow this down, but this Malphite's not strong enough to do all that by himself. Actually a little bit behind level compared to the jungler as well too. Swivel already a level ahead of Gagduggy Fresh, Alpha as well. So they're going to crash the Rift again, taking half of the health off that second turret on that mid lane. It's going to be pretty big as we can see the map really opening up for TFF right now. And we do have Otacon spawning on that top side as well. Turret down over there too. So having really good map pressure and control for TFF throughout this game so far.
Yeah, the leads are just starting to build up, and while I was saying Sir should outscale and do better if they just keep giving kills over like that, can keep getting picked. They're never going to get to that point in the game where they're going to finally be able to outscale them. We were saying it earlier, to slow the pace down. They need to be careful, need to watch out, and they need to just let let TFF waste their time and their resources and not just keep engaging with it.
Yeah, definitely. Looking at this too as well, Swivel, those 2 kills is gonna give him a small bounty on his head. Conduit doesn't really want to give away this Ruinous Otacon so easily, but it is a little bit harder to contest right now. Meanwhile, the bot lane has moved over to the mid lane here. It's going to continue pressure on this map, and yeah, I don't know. So far, I feel like we haven't seen any really good fights really set up from Conduit so far, right? I think they need Gavduggy to set up a really good engage, but so far it seems like he's either just not been there or the fight hasn't really been in their favor. Alf does take out Darison in a 1v1 kill. Alf really just popping off, especially after maybe like minute 1. This has definitely been a mid-div in favor of Alf throughout the game.
Yeah, it is just a mid-div. Alf is just running amok. 7-2-3 on the Cassiopeia, winning 1v1s against everyone in this game. And already 2 items almost done with that. Leandra is about to be almost an item and a half ahead of the Victor. That's just an insane place to be at 22 minutes into the game. And this Cassiopeia is just going to become more and more difficult to deal with. And you know, the solution is just Dougie needs to ult right into Cass, and they need to just follow up and nuke her. But I just don't feel like so far they've shown the coordination around their positioning and their team fight to really set that up on the side of Sir.
All right, we might have a fight breakout here too. It looks like TFF does not want to give up a single turret this game. Infernal Chains is not going to land. Gavduggy Fresh is posturing for a potential engage, but does get chunked quite a bit. Already at half health from all the poke damage on the side of TFF. Alf is here though, is going to try to 1v1 the Shin Zhao, but doesn't quite do it just by himself. However, Titan Duff very low now. Cataclysm going to catch Titan Duff and Gavduggy Fresh in both front line. Has gone down for Conduit. This is going to be a really tough fight for them. All 5 members still up from TFF Alfstronauts. Looks like they're going to try to secure another Drake here. Just put them on soul point after this one. And there's just no way to contest this if you're Conduit at this moment in time too. Conduit's trying to poke around but gets chunked from the support Barlow as well. So a lot of damage coming through on all fronts from TFF. But just, again, a really fantastic fight from TFF, and you can see the gold matching the discrepancy we've seen here too. Over about almost 6K gold lead now for TFF.
Yeah, well, I said Titan and Dougie need to go in on to Alf. They did. It didn't work, but the rest of the team not there to kind of follow up on that, I think is the problem. They're just, it feels like they're so excited to find that pick and go in, but aren't thinking about, okay, who's there to follow up with me once this is done? Who is there to make sure that we secure this kill? And I think it's causing them a lot of issues in terms of really playing these fights out. And the gold lead 6,000 now, almost Dragon Soul for TFF. This is just going to become brutal at this point for them.
Yeah, we're going to really see if Conduit could even scale as much as they want to. I will say, at least if you're looking at the CS numbers, things are looking okay for Bam and Darrison, right, their main two carries. So even though they don't have as many kills to their names, at least they're trying to stay at as even as possible in the gold differential to hopefully set up a comeback. But if they grab Dragon Soul as well for TFF, it can make this game quite hard. Draco is caught a bit, but the polymorph does come through. Swivel is going to try to get to safety. Gab Dougie Fresh is here though for a potential engage, but does get rooted from Barlow and gets chunked completely down. This doesn't even look like a tank Malphite anymore. Dawning Shadows does come through, and then the kill is going to go over to Swivel. That Malphite is going to go down, and the rest of the team is trying to run for their lives, and they are stuck with the Aatrox in tight spaces. And if you're Aatrox, you love to see that. Jinx goes down as well. Arcane Storm is going to slow down the fight a bit here, but it looks like this is going to be a quick Baron for TFF. Titan Duff is going to recall, so no chance to even steal this.
Yeah, I think they're just going to have to give it up. Losing 2 members to start in that fight. The TFF's just basically beating them with their wallets at this point. They're just so strong. They're so far in the lead. I don't know if there's really many opportunities for Sir to get back into this. I mean, they got the turrets. They at least got some bounty gold in their pockets, help stem the bleeding. But Atacon going down to TFF. The gold lead expanding. Dragon probably going to go to them in the next 2.5 minutes. This is just going to become. It's got to become something. Now they're getting all the levels too from Atacon, so yeah, this it's snowballing. It's snowballing into a place that Sir does not want it to be.
You know, they were kind enough to give Conduit one of the Drakes, but outside of that, I mean, that's every objective going over the side of TFF. 6 Grubs, they even got the Rift earlier, this Baron. Now they got Ruinous Otacon with 3 Drakes to the name as well. This is not looking good for Conduit so far in this specific situation. I think the tough part here is that Gab Doggy Fresh obviously built a lot of armor, right? Obviously for this Aatrox matchup. But you got double Leandries on the side of TFF. And this Malphite is just getting burned to a crisp so early in the fight that he just can't frontline long enough, you know? And it's, I don't even know if I want to really put too much blame on Gab Doggy Fresh, but kind of tanking is his main responsibility. But the moment that he's gone down, you know, the rest of the team is just kind of running for their lives. I mean, yeah, Shinzao could tank a little bit here or there and disengage a bit, but just doesn't have the tanking potential. And there's just so much damage coming over from the side of TFF.
Yeah, and I think the opportunity, like the doors are slowly closing on Sir in this game, and you know that's okay. It's game number 1. You don't want to have to deal with any of this anymore. No more Alf Cassiopeia coming your way after this. But it's still a rough position to be in overall.
Right, and we got 4 members here. We see Alf rotating up as well too. Titan Duff being pretty aggressive here, going to try to fight this Aatrox 1v1. Does get encored in as well, and this is not going to be a great time. Swivel is going to take down Titan Duff, but we get Bam getting a shutdown onto the Seraphine. However, now has to run for their lives as Infernal Chain is going to connect. Bam is going to go down. Swivel is now godlike. We just got a lonely Lulu at this point in time defending the base, but this is going to be a hard one for Lulu to defend, and over 20 seconds left before the first member is going to be up from the side of Conduit. You can see on the little corner screen that they're going to try to end the game, but as we look at this quick replay of how this all went down, Titan Duff trying to get something here. We get the ultimate from Gab Dougie Fresh as well, but they're just so behind at this point too, both on levels and items. As you can see, TFF Alfstronauts is going to take game number 1 over Conduit in commanding fashion.
Yeah, and as we see the victory screen go through, we just watch that fight break as Alfstronauts living up to their name. It is Alf all the way, and they dominate in their first win of the series. And really setting the tone, I think, for this series. This was a very dominant win.
Yeah, definitely a statement game for sure. I mean, really strong leads, especially on that top jungle and mid lane matchups. And Chrome Malone and Barlow playing fantastic as well too, right? Not giving up any kills really, any CS, and just staying at least even and being where the team is at the right time for those team fights has been crucial for their success. That was a quick game, under 30 minutes there. First game is going to go over to TFF Alfstronauts, but like I said, this is a best of 5, so we got more action coming. We're going to take a quick break before we head into game number 2. Welcome back, everyone, to Titan Esports Divinity League. We're in the grand finals. Game number 1 ended in swift fashion with TFF Alfstronauts taking the first game over Conduit Esports Retribution. I'm joined by I'm Caleb Peng. I'm joined with Rap here. What are your thoughts on game number 1, Rap?
I honestly I felt like Sir should have had that they got too aggressive. You just kept I respect Titan Def doing all that damage, looking for plays, but there's just so many opportunities between him and Doogie that they went in and there was no one else followed. Darrison wasn't there, Bam wasn't there, Draconical wasn't there, and it just felt like they just kept taking these separated fights and just kept feeding Alf. And it made it impossible for them to really find an opportunity to win. So unfortunate, but it's something that they can work on. They can kind of get it all together. Go, hey, let's get on the same page. It's a new game. Alf doesn't have his Cassiopeia anymore. We just need to be more coordinated. Maybe have some more ability for our carries to catch back up to our divers and set themselves up. And for the side of TFF, they played it perfectly. Alf is living up to his team's name and is the carry. He is taking them to space.
Definitely. I mean, I agree with you too, right? I think after the early engages on the side of Conduit, unfortunately, there wasn't as quick follow up in the early fights, and by the end, right, even with the follow up, they were just outscaled at that point too, or just out leveled. But that being said, before we get into game number 2, we have some player awards to hand out for some players here. So big congrats to those on the graphic here. We got Foolsry JC with the MVP, and then of course we got our all-pro team, TFF Ultimize, who is still playing here, and then we got Monkey Supreme Myth, IG Azure Fire, Monkey Supreme Step Bro, and then IG Concrete to round out the all-pro team, first pro team. And then of course we got MVP runner-up Monkey Supreme Myth, and then we got second pro team Foolsry, Fifth and Rich, as well as TFF Alf. We got Foolsry JC in the second all-pro team, and then TFF Barlow. A lot of these players we just saw as well. And then we got Monkey Supreme in the third all-pro team. We got Monkey Supreme Steel Fan, TFF Swivel, who we just saw in the last game. Monkey Master Chef for Nightmare on that mid lane. Third all-pro team, TFF Chroma Lone, as we saw in the previous game in the Foolsry Sprites. Something that's really interesting is that there aren't any members of Conduit Esports Retribution on this graphic here, which really goes to show how much of an underdog they are and how well they have played in the playoffs here to make it this far as well. Because if you look at maybe some of the games in regular season, definitely a sleeper team to make it this far. And I think even though they did lose that first game, they have what it takes to take it to maybe even a game 5. Because like I said, both teams went to game 5s in both quarters and semifinals. So one quick loss there is not enough to dissuade them, as we are going to be heading over to draft pretty shortly. But anyway, big congrats to everyone that was on that graphic, both to the players that are still playing and as well as those that might have been eliminated throughout the playoffs. But it's going to be Conduit with the first ban. It's going to be
Mordekaiser right off the table yet again. Really don't want to deal with that. They are very scared of that pick, and good reason. And also, like you were saying, congrats to the players who have won in the All-Pro, and congrats to the players that are here in the finals.
Yeah,
it's the finals. I'd rather take that than All-Pro, but I'd rather also win in the finals. So TFF already on the way for that, but Sir gotta bring it back together. And more of the same bands. The Nocturne though now coming out for Sir as a band, so see if they continue with the Gwen. No, it's gonna be the Silas. Okay, so they are changing up the bands a bit. TFF kind of just continuing the same thing though.
Yeah, I think really want to target some of the bands onto the side of Conduit. I think they went with the same exact 3 actually.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Yeah. So interesting to note as well too. I mean, you're talking about you'd rather be in the finals too. Both these teams are the 4th seed, right? We had 2 groups that we got the top. I believe the top 8 or top 4 of both. Top four both. Yeah. So and NBA top 8. So both were coming in at that 4th seed, barely qualified even for the playoffs. So many upsets led to this grand finals. As we got the Gwen first pickup for the side of Conduit. We'll be going. I mean, I guess it could be a jungle Gwen, but it can be. It's gonna be a Vi and an Ashe pickup on the side of TFF.
Yeah, these are interesting picks we've seen. I think Sherigan talked about this on the podcast on Friday. Some of these picks. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. I know I need to go rewatch it because I'm forgetting exactly what the picks were. But I am excited to see the Vi. I know it's not where it's going, but I do hope it's Vi support. Anyone that's seen me cast enough in this league knows that I do love a Vi support. I don't think it's that great into Seraphine, but it'd be, I think, a good pair up with Ashe.
Yeah.
Their post level 6 is strong, but I'm also fine with a Braum. I think that is a fantastic pick to go with Ashe.
Yeah, Ashe Braum is definitely a very strong lane too. My guess is the Seraphine might be a graphical error because we did have Seraphine in a previous game, number 1, and this is Fearless. But Mel also being picked up here for Conduit. Honestly, I know they nerfed Mel quite a bit since her initial release, but Mel, especially mid to late game, is still pretty strong. You know, as long as you don't you don't fall too far behind CS and stuff. The early game is not nearly as strong, I think, but yeah, Mel can be quite nasty as well. Just kind of based on how her passive works too. Just be able to gobble up a lot of the kills and just get yourself with a very high econ throughout the game. But yeah.
I don't think she's even in that weak of a spot either post nerf. I think she's gotten a lot of tools that really still enable her, especially into the likes of Ashe and Braum. You throw an enchanted crystal arrow and Mel just deflects it right back at you. That's gonna mess up a lot of team fights. Now, I'm on the side of TFF. I'm probably thinking, they got the Mel.
Yeah, and it's going to be an Ornn pickup as well too. I like this pickup a lot. So this is going to be a Gwen jungle, and we're just waiting on. Well, we'll confirm what the actual ADC is, I guess here, but it's going to be a Rel support to round things out for Conduits.
I think that's Sarah. I think
Also
that's gonna be okay. Yeah, so okay, we've got it confirmed. It is a Tristana for the Seraphine. So Trist, Rel bot lane, Mel in the mid, Gwen jungle, Ornn top. Into an Alawi. Oh, let's go. Old Mice bringing out the big guns.
Yeah, we don't see Alawi super often here, but it's very annoying to play into too in certain situations, especially if she gets pretty far ahead. This was our last draft, so ignore that, but we will be pulling up the full draft here too. But once we have these two teams here, which team are you favoring more here?
I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to favor that Senate. No, I'm just kidding. I actually favor. I think I still favor TFF. I think something that's worth noting about it is that Sir doesn't really. I mean, I guess they have Tristana, so maybe. You know, I take that back. I still saw the Seraphine and just immediately thought Seraphine. No, I give it to just Sir. I think their comp is a little bit more well-rounded, and I think if Garrison can time the Mel deflects correctly, it's going to be just awful for TFF, and it's going to really mess up their fights. But as we have seen, Sir does have a little issue of being a little too aggressive and getting separated, and with the comp TFF is running like this, that's the worst thing you could do in this situation, is to just charge at all 5 of these members without the rest of your team. So I think right now I'll give it to Sir, but I have to see how this game develops.
Yeah, definitely. This is going to be an interesting game, I think, for Swevel as well, too. I feel like not a lot of easy targets for Vi to lock down, right? You got Tristana with the jump as well, and just a lot of escape mechanism. You're probably just mostly going for the Mel, but I feel like Mel could kind of stop you in your tracks as well a bit, and just has so much range. So I'm going to be interested to see how Swevel, maneuvers around. But I think Conduit in general does look like they have the stronger composition here. But, composition isn't everything. We said that about last game, and TFF was able to end the game pretty quickly.
Yeah. Then once they ended it, it was just it went from it escalated so quickly. It went from they might just get a push and end it in a couple of minutes to it's just done. So I am interested to see how it goes as well. I think that it's really going to be how these teams played out and seeing if Sir has learned anything from their escapades in the previous game.
Yeah, definitely. And the interesting thing to note is because they were in two separate groups as well, I believe this might be their first time they're playing each other for this entire split. If I'm correct on that, I believe that's the case too, because yeah, they wouldn't have played against each other in the regular season. So
Yeah.
that is, I'm trying to think. Wait, or maybe they have. Maybe they played across each other, but they're in different pools for standings. I'm not sure, but anyway, either way, it's been a while since they played each other because definitely played each other in the playoffs. So we're gonna have to see how this one goes. But yeah, I think this bot lane early game is going to be super interesting as well too, because you can have quite a bit of aggression on both ends here. But I feel like you could really get stunned up quite a bit between that Ashe and Braum.
I agree. I want to see how this goes. I really want to see how this Alawi does. It's not often you get to see Alawi, and I think into Ornn it's actually a pretty good matchup for the Alawi. Ornn, doesn't really have a lot of tools to fight you from afar outside of throwing the Q, and you just keep grabbing his soul and beating him. He's a big target, easy to grab. So it'll be interesting to see if they kind of play that through as we think they're going to, or if they're gonna, if Ornn will manage to get the better of Dougie, will actually be able to manage, without having a lane that's there to beat. Actually, I guess this is still Ultimize is still playing a champion that's here to beat you in lane, which is seems to be the strategy. See if this continues to pay off for them.
Yeah, I do like the Ornn pickup in terms of for at least the team potential. But yeah, this could be a potentially a rough laning phase, as Ultimize is going to love that matchup. But we are heading into game number 2 here. We got TFF on the red side already up a game, and then Conduit on the blue side to start things off. And oh, interesting too. I mean, I don't play a lot of Alawi myself, but I don't think I've seen Alawi start with tier very often, so it's gonna be interesting.
I don't
Dynamic.
see that often either. I'm
Okay, yeah, I was
curious.
like, maybe I'm missing something, but
I'm curious what the strat there is. Like, it just doesn't seem like a pick that would normally be that beneficial for you to take by itself. I mean, not by itself, but like taking tier just seems inefficient. That's the word.
Yeah.
I feel like you do want that early damage so you can kind of win early trades and like exert your pressure in the lane. But maybe looking for the turret to kind of for things to get kind of pushed into them, make it a little bit easier for Ultimize to land the spirit pull, bring it under the turret, let the turret do the chip damage. That could be actually the play here, and I think doing that would actually be very clever, and would help kind of win in poke and win the lane while keeping it pushed into you is actually like such a rare situation to find yourself in. So could be interesting if this goes. I gotta see the tech.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and I think, the tier definitely allows you to stay in lane a bit longer too, which could help, especially because Ornn typically is not going to back unless you're really chunked as well with that passive. But meanwhile, we have Alf and Darison going for some aggressive trades. Again, Alf starting a little bit low on the HP side of things, but that didn't stop him from snowballing pretty quickly in the last game. As both control mages have a decent amount of range to really make this lane quite uncomfortable.
I wonder how this game is going to. I just want to see how it all plays out in the end. I wish I could watch every lane at once. It just feels like it'd be so good to see everything happening all at one time. Across the lanes, because I feel like every match is important to watch right now. It's all about the little leads and how those are going to snowball this game. So I just kind of want to see it all. But I am fine seeing this top lane because I do want to see how Ultimize manages to handle the Ornn. So far, it is a losing battle, somewhat.
Yeah, it is. That very easy soul grab every single time. But Ultimize is getting chunked a bit as well too in this matchup. So Ornn able to hold a little bit on his own. We got Walk Warlock saying tier less just stay in lane later in the game, and Ornn can never move if Alawi is pretty much it never leaves. So yep. So that would make a lot of sense too. Yeah, I mean, otherwise you just give up way too many plates and Alawi just becomes a split pushing menace, and the rest of the team just has to go to safety, and then you just lose every objective and then you just lose the game. So that's that's a solo queue experience, and sometimes it could be even the organized 5v5 experience if you let the Alawi get a little too fed. Meanwhile, this bot lane is looking pretty good for TFF so far. Obviously, you kind of had to be careful, you know, running into a Braum and an Ashe combination. They'll slow you, they'll stun you, and pick up the kills.
Yeah, and Tristana's early game is fairly weak. I mean, you get a little bit of buff with the E and the rocket jump, but still a lot of her power is in her increased range later on. So I think it's just about playing for that scaling and needing those items. Something else I want to like say is like a just duh point for the Alawi. I'm sure it's like a duh, but I think it is something worth bringing up. Is with the tier, she's gonna be able to pull more spirits because she'll have more mana. So it means she gets more chances to just beat him up like kind of from afar.
Oh, okay, we get the engage through as well, the knockup as well. Forcing the flash from Ultimize. I gotta say, Gavdoggy Fresh has been playing this matchup pretty well, too. Actually ahead on CS against this Allow as well, too. And obviously, all these tentacles are going to give him a little extra econ as well. So forcing Ultimize to back, to be the first one to back, actually, here, too. Gavdoggy Fresh can also back here, or just kind of stay in lane and just use that Living Force to constantly, you know, get some of those maybe health regen items, or just items in general.
You think it's going to be a Mana Muna?
Now that would be some interesting tech, but and I'd love to see if that would even work too, but I don't think so personally.
Yeah, she's got the 2 blades. It could. The Muramana could be the option here. That would be funny.
Yeah, 2 blades is
Yeah,
I was thinking about Fimbulwinter, but
Fimbulwinter I think is the play is what I think they would go for, but I'm curious to get the Muramana.
No, I get you too, because the 2 longswords did throw me off a bit there too. But maybe just looking for some of that damage.
Yeah, we just know it's not Archangels. that would be
if that's some tech,
pointless.
we're gonna need all of chat to help us decipher that one here.
Yeah, I actually don't know. Does Alawi have any AP scaling on her kit? I actually can't think of any off the top of my head. But
good question. But I think you're probably just better off with other items if it really came down to that.
Yeah. Now it's just a question of like, would you actually get anything out of that? Let us know, chat. Let us know if there are AP scalings on Alawi for all you Alawi mains out there. All 3 of you.
Yeah, at least based on what I recall, it's pretty much all physical damage. As we do get the Mountain Drake going over to the side of TFF. They're going to be the first one to secure up this objective. Action has been pretty, it's been a fairly quiet game so far. I mean, obviously a little bit of harassment and lane from both sides of things, but both teams seem pretty content on just scaling as hard as they can. And I feel like the late game too is kind of, it's hard to say exactly, you know. I think there's a lot of late game potential for both teams here. I mean, Ornn obviously helping the entire team scale well into late game is always nice too, but this Allow is pretty annoying in the late game. Meldo as well, very strong in the late game. As we see, Swubble and Barlow trying to hover over around Darerson's side, but I think Darerson might have spotted out or just playing a little bit on the safer end here too. Grubs are going to be secured on the side of Conduit. So we're going to trade objective for objective. Ooh, the volley almost stopping the back there, but not quite.
Yeah, that like last frame you can take damage and still in the back not, and still the back go through. So no surprise there. Oh, there is AP scaling on all of her abilities. Okay. I was thinking maybe at most 1 or 2. I didn't think the whole kit had AP scaling. Okay then. Well, I guess you technically could build Archangel. Still would not recommend it, and I do not think that is what Ultimice is doing here. But now we know you could, in theory, build Archangels on Alawi and get minor value out of it.
Yeah, I've been in some low elo games myself, and even I haven't seen AP Alawi or even from the Bow. So I feel like most people probably wouldn't go for it. As we see a jump over to Chromalone. Chromalone getting chunked quite a bit, and is about to get stunned up though. But unfortunately, the Saturn Strike is not going to land onto the Braum. Both ADCs taking quite a bit of damage in that trade there, but some miss abilities on both ends does slow down the fight quite a bit. Gold differential is just pretty much exactly even at this point too, as expected given the circumstances. It looks like Ultimate though has pulled a little bit away in the CS.
Yeah, winning a bit in the CS right there. And they're kind of winning in every lane except jungle and technically mid with one, but you win there, you might lose in the fight. Mel's Garrison's come up and... Oh, okay, they're not going to actually continue this. Especially because they see the rest of TFF here.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so apparently AP Allow is a Darison pocket pick, but luckily Darison is playing the Mel, so TFF doesn't have to deal with that AP Allow. But that is an interesting one that I would love to see. I'm sure the damage goes kind of crazy, but we're going to, yeah, go back to the action there. Like I said, a fairly quiet game so far. Waiting to see who could even pick up the first kill here. But Gap Doggy Fresh, in my opinion, just doing a really great job in this lane too, right? Not a lane that you would particularly love to play into if you're Orange, but avoiding a lot of these tentacle grabs and doing a decent amount of damage back to Lao is quite nice. The Shattering Strike is going to land onto Alf. It does take a little bit of chip damage, but nothing too crazy as we see Draco is roaming around. 3 members of TFF, though, are going to push Titan Duff back to his side of the jungle. And yeah, back to farming. Back to farming.
Yeah, it's just infinite farm. It's going to be a very slow game. I think both these teams are more about the scaling and not really playing the early, except Ultimice, and you're playing into Orange, so you're not really getting a lot of early scaling, a lot of early fighting that is going to go your way. So it is just going to be a passive game. And for Sir, that's actually what you want. You get time to scale up your Tristana. You get Orin up to the point where you start getting the Orin items. That's the really better situation to be in. But a fight, breaking out here in the bot.
All right, and we get stuns on both sides here too. They re-engage from Draco, but the Glacial Fisher is going to knock up quite a few members here. Bam is quite low, is stunned up, does jump out, but Swevel is right on top. Bam somehow makes it out of here, trying to stay alive. One volley can't do it, though. You can see Titan Duff trying to body block a bit here. You can see the volley coming through as well. Not actually able to pick up Bam. That's actually huge for them to be able to get away there. But Draco does go down on the Rel. After what it looked like to be a good engagement from the Rel, but let's take a look and see how that all unfolded.
Yeah, I think the problem is Barlow is 6 and Rel is not. So the ult comes through, the Ash Arrow as well, along with the exhaust. So Bam just doesn't get to do anything this fight, gets no damage out, gets nothing, and is just forced to immediately flee. And once you've already lost your support, it's kind of done. Oh, the fail, the just barely miss by Swevel. Needed to really get the punch in there, use the E to really finish the kill, and doesn't get to. So at least it wasn't as bad for Sir, but still just really didn't need to take the fight right there. I guess they just thought they didn't have Swevel with them to kind of facilitate it. And gold it's up only about 800 right now for TFF, but it's kind of how it started last game. Now it's just whether or not Sir will slow down the pace again. Okay, they are getting the grubs, so at least they've gotten all 6 grubs. They have a little bit of push power, which is going to be great for the Tristana. And
we get a kill over on to Darison. It is going to be Ultimate that's going to be taken down here. 4 members on the side of Conduit. They're going to try to grab this turret as fast as they can here. I mean, 6 grubs is going to be one way to do that as we're going to look to secure first turret. Let's take a look at the replay and see how this went down. 6 grubs, as you can see, is going to be secured on the side of Conduit. Ultimate, I think, recognizing this too, but the knockup from Gab Doggy Fresh is huge. And then the route as well to the ultimate from Darison. So definitely a big pickup for them. Score is now 1-1. 2 objectives on both ends as well. But they did grab the first turret, so they just need 1 more objective to secure the piece of strength. And honestly, grabbing these 6 grubs is huge for Colors. Oh, as I'm talking about this dude, Shockwave comes in. Darison's quite low, and that's going to be a 1v1 kill for Alf yet again. Alf, the king of 1v1s here in this series so far. Going to grab some value for the team as well. 1 more kill, and they are going to secure the feats of warfare for them, which they definitely need at least to have a chance at the feats of strength against the side of Conduit.
Did I miss? How did the Ash get how did Chrome Malone get a assist there? Oh, hang on, we'll have to talk about that after. Well has been caught.
Yeah, as the volley and the arrow comes through, Glacial Fissure lands as well. Double ultimates, and the Feats of Warfare is going to go over the side of TFF. Ash is going to be the one to pick up that kill too. Really great bot lane synergy from TFF so far this game. But yeah, good question. So how did the arrow? I don't think the arrow landed on the Lowy. Okay, yeah. So one assist was from the first fight, and then I'm not sure where the other assist came from.
I saw the assist. Oh, I watched it. It was coming from Alf's kill in the mid lane. I was just a little confused.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I wonder if maybe Arrow potentially set that up there too, but as you see, this bot lane is still going to skirmish a bit here. As you see,
yeah.
Oh, okay,
it's the vision. It's the hawk shot. I didn't see him hawk shot. I was like, he did an arrow because he still had arrow and used it in that fight.
Yeah.
So I was like, how did he get the assist? But that makes much more sense using the hawk shot to make sure that there's no jungler hiding in the wings. And Alf gets the 1v1. I know it's an assist for Ash, but let's be real, Ash should do any damage.
We'll still give it to Alf, you know. We'll still
I would say that is a 1v1. That assist was as literal pity assist as you could get in this game.
That's right. Well, a little extra gold to your ADC is never a bad sign here. We get the knockup as well. Gavdog Fresh, Ultimize is going to take one more turret shot, but the low advantage from Ultimize is going to be nice as well with one complete item here too. But Titan Duff is going to start heading up for this potential fight here as knockup comes through. Titan is here. The ultimate comes down from the Lowy though. You really don't want to fight inside of this as Titan Duff is going to try to run to safety. So Ultimize already starting to become a bit of a menace in this top lane, and Gavdog Fresh is going to try to dodge some of these tentacles and get back to safety, but having that one item lead there is quite nice for Ultimize.
Yeah, and now they're starting to become a problem. 30 CS up on the Lowy. That is not a good place to be in if you're Ornn, and it's not going to really be able to win these 1v1s. The arrow, oh!
All right, and we get another shockwave coming through as well. Alf is going to pick up that kill, going to grab a tower as well. So Alf still doing Alf things in game number 2. Actually, even I feel like in a way, even a hotter start than game number 1. Ultimize, though, is going to be fighting Gavdog Fresh. Titan Duff is there. Oh, flashes and avoids the call of the Forge God, but there's 3 members here, and the Lowy ultimate is still down. So not going to be able to fight that one off, but trying to stay alive as much as possible. Meanwhile, we got TFF going to try to grab what advantages they can, given that most of the members were on that top side for Conduit, as they grab a second turret for themselves. Next team to grab this objective will be grabbing the Feats of Strength. So it's definitely going to be likely a hotly contested objective, as Ultimize is going to be spawning soon.
Yeah, TFF gets an inch and takes a mile from it. Getting more turrets, getting more kills, just kind of taking it all over the map. I want to say, shout out to Chrome Alone on that arrow in the bot lane onto Darrison. What a fantastic one. And Darrison didn't even have the barrier to block. So
yeah, that's right. Chrome Alone heard it. You know, he's like, you know what? I'm going to earn my assist this time around. It's not just going to be a hawk shot. And he definitely earned that one. As we see, members of TFF probably pinging over for this Mountain Drake, and it's going to be, or actually no, it's not even a Mountain Drake, but either way, they are going to look to try to secure this, and this will be Feats of Strength if that's going to be the case. Darrison is here. You can see members of Conduit starting to roam over here. Will they get there in time is the real question. As we see, the control ward is going to spot out Draco on that top side of the river there. And there's Conduit Ray actually got it on the Rift Arrow. My mistake. Either way, they're probably just still want to contest this. Drake, as we see, the Glacial Fissure is going to come through, and the Shockwave as well is going to secure the kill onto Titan Dust, so not going to be able to contest it very well. Darrison, however, trying to pincer from the backside, but flanking on a Mel is probably not going to go the way you want to. Chrome Alone is going to take the kill onto Tristana. Darrison trying to buy some time there, drops the ultimate, not enough damage though, and the kill is going to go over to Swevel, as Alpha's going to avoid some of that damage, and this does put them on soul points after grabbing this Drake.
Yeah, I don't know that fight. I don't know that fight, sir. They once again, just like last game, you have your support going. This time you got your support, got your jungle, both going in. The AD carry not in position. The mid laner not really in position to help out, and They lose the jungler before the fight even begins. Rel's already almost dead, and then Bam walks in, Darrison walks in, and they just get rolled in that fight. And Surge just, I guess they didn't learn from the last game. You gotta wait for your carries to be there and in position to follow up on your damage, but you might find something here on Ultimize.
Yeah, Ultimize is in a tough position. Call of the Forge God is going to knock him up, and Gab Fresh is going to pick up the kill there. However, Ultimize did get the turret. And here's the thing, Ultimize is 0-3-0, which means that he's not going to worth that much gold, but he still has a ton of value on the map. So even if he dies a couple times, I think it is still well worth it for TFF as they're grabbing these turrets. And yeah, actually, the only deaths on the side of TFF has been from Ultimize here too. So reducing the gold out there is actually probably not a bad thing, as looks like it's going to be at least a 3v3 fight here. The Shockwave does come through, so does the Mel ultimates, and it does shut down Chrome alone. However, Tristan does go down, and Alf is now on a rampage after taking down both the Gwen and the Mel as well. Alf popping off yet again in this game, and things are looking pretty dire for Conduit here. As you can see, almost a little over a 4k gold differential as well too. They don't have any grubs to their name, at least, TFF, but they are 1 point away from Cloud Soul. And it doesn't really look like they need the grubs either, because Ultimate's doing a great job of just split pushing here. But let's take a quick look at this replay.
Yeah, this was a fight. Darrison getting caught out right there. Kind of falls back to the team, hoping they can bait them right here, especially with no Ashe ult being up for Chrome alone. But huge ult from the Braum and Alf, and they just absolutely destroy two members of Sir right off the bat. They take one down, they take Chrome alone with them, but losing with Swevel coming in to help finish off Titan, it's just unfortunate that yet again Sir is just getting out team fought. The TFF is just so on point with these fights, especially Alf. Like, Alf is actually insane this series so far. Between the Cassiopeia game and this Orianna game, and now maybe even around in this fight too.
Yeah, a huge arrow is going to stun up the Ornn, as Swevel is going to take down the Rel. Call the Forge Guy is going to knock up quite a few members here, but none have gone down yet. Ultimate does go down as Darrison is going to pick up that kill, but the rest of the Conduit has to run here as Ashe is going to chase down the Ornn, taking quite a few turret shots. Bam and Chrome is going to trade some shots, but Chrome is going to be coming out on top there. Double kill going over to Chrome alone, and that's an ace going over to the side of TFF, and oh my gosh, and they get themselves Otacon as well, the Voracious Otacon. So if it was hard enough to kill Alf and pretty much the rest of the team outside of Ultimize, it only gets harder after this.
Voracious Otacon. Well, TFF's about to take another fight. I guarantee you that one. And they're winning just across the board in every fight. I am not sure if Sir really has many opportunities to take this. Conduit, they got the feats, they got the upgraded boots, but in the end, they're still losing in these fights. TFF is just on point. Alf's ults have been fantastic. Chrome alone's targeting. They waste everything on Ultimize, and they just can't kill him. The Alawi is just too big at this point for them to kill with just how much has gone to farm. And another arrow onto almost hit Bam. That would have been dead for Bam.
Threading the needle there too, and thread between the needles, I guess, in some ways there. But Titan actually caught quite low here in this bottom side, as Ultimize is going to take down Titan Duff. Alawi doing Alawi things, maybe going for a 1v2 situation here, as the rest of TFF is going to help. And Darrison is in a really tough position. Chrome alone is going to try to grab this kill. Oh, great sidestep as well to avoid the roots. Darrison trying to do some final damage, but that kill does go over to Chrome alone, who's down 6-1-4. And yeah, things are not looking great for Conduit here. What is their win con at this point, I guess, is the better question.
They hope that TFF just falls into a coma, every member at once. I think at this point, that might be the only win condition. They are 7k down, as we watch in this fight. Titan Buff just gets slapped by Ultimize. Like, they were losing a 2v1 against a 1-4 Alawi. That's how big she is in farm, and because they've just let her free farm. Like what do you do? What do you do in a situation like this? You don't have the only really late game insurance you have is Ornn items and Tristana, but you aren't getting to farm that much. You're getting pushed back. You're losing all the fights. Your opponents are constantly taking fights and never giving you that opportunity. They're not taking their feet off the gas pedal. I don't know a path for Sir here. It's really rough, and it's not even like they're really playing that badly. It's just TFF is on a whole nother level right now, though someone has been caught.
All right, Ultimice is going to go down, but let's not forget, Voracious Otacon is still active, so not really much lost in that respect. Meanwhile, Gavdoggy Fresh, though, is caught in a tough position. Swavel is going to grab the kill. The arrow lands on the Mel. Can't really follow that up under the turret, but at least they get the rest of the team out to safety. So trading top lane for top laner, but the Alawi didn't actually die and is going to be TPing for the rest of the team here. Looks like they're going to try to maybe even try to end the game right here. Let's see if they could do it or not. First inhibitor turret is going to go down. Bottom inhib is going to go down shortly after. They could probably thin out this wave pretty quickly, though, so I think they're just going to go back to their bases, reset a bit, and yeah, and at some point, too, they also grab Cloud Soul, so those are looking a little bit tough for Conduit.
Yeah, and they're backing up because guess what's coming up in a minute? It's Baron. I think TFF's going to get it. If they don't take a fight there and just win off the fight, they're going to get the Baron and just win on a push right there, because I don't know if TFF can handle the Baron push at this point. Down 10, almost about 8,000 gold. There's Cloud Soul on the side of TFF. They're about to have Baron. This is a really rough position to find yourself in. And Titan, Titan's been caught. Look at the half health by like 1 Q from Swevel.
All right, and Titan does go down pretty quickly there. The rest of the team might be following suit. Gavdoggy Fresh trying to do whatever he can for the team, but there's not enough damage. Even if the stuns are there, Darison with a great reflect there, but still does go down to Chrome alone. Swavel takes out the Ornn as well, and you only got Bam here just farming the bot lane, doing whatever he can to try to catch up at this point in time, but this looks like Baron's going to be falling into the hands of TFF as everything's going their way. 6-0-7 on Swavel's Vi, 6-0-8 on the Orianna. I mean, I know I questioned Vi. I was like, is Vi a good pick here? Who are you really going to pick off? But it looks like Swavel can pick off anyone he chooses here. And of course, that's 7-1-5 to 15 kill participation from the Braum as well, to everyone on TFF doing what they can to just make this game completely impossible to come back from.
Yeah, and I won't even fault Ultimice for all those deaths. Like every time he's like outside of that one death when like 4 people came top, but even in that case, because they dragged 4 people up there, it feels like he dies taking every ult from the side of Conduit, and then this team just comes and flips because they don't have any more ults to follow up on. So doing such a good job absorbing all that pressure, and then the team, like you said, the Braum assisting great, really getting some good stun setup. The Ashe, some fantastic arrows. Swevel making sure to keep on the objective, getting set, and making sure target selection is good for picks. It's just everyone is firing on all cylinders, and this is if they can manage to close this game out, this will put TFF on match point. And Conduit, they're going to have to reverse sweep in that situation. And like how? I guess the question is how deep is TFF's champion pool, and is Conduit's deeper? Can they perform on their 3rd, 4th picks a little bit better than TFF can? I think that's going to be the real question, as we are seeing the inhibitors fall. So it's going to be another inhibitor down. The mid inhibitor is down. Top getting pushed in. I think it's just a matter of time at this point.
Yeah, definitely. And you can see so much brand pressure here as the fight is going to break down here. Draco is going to go through and try to go for engage, but the arrow does land on Draco, and Draco's the first to fall as Alpha's going to pick up that kill there. Meanwhile, yeah, another member goes down. Ornn goes down to Chrome alone. Mel goes down to Ultimice, and looks like TFF is going to clean up game number 2, and even a quicker fashion than game number 1. Under 28 minutes for game number 2, as everything was going the way of TFF here, and they are now on match point.
Ooh, TFF looking so strong. The Alfstronauts are on their way to the moon. My boys, they are going the distance this series, and they are one game away from a championship, from becoming this league's champion. And it almost feels like a golden road at this point. The 4th seed in their group, just dominating their way in this final. Oh,
Yeah.
what a game! What a game! What a series so far.
The only disappointing thing is we never saw what that tier turned into, so one can hope that maybe it would have been a Man Immunity down the road. But that's going to do it for game number 2 here, as TFF is up 2-0 over Conduit. We're going to take a quick break before we go back into game number 3. Welcome back, everyone, to Titan Esports. This is the Divinity League, and we're in the grand finals. It is match point for TFF Alfstronauts. They are up 2-0 in this best of 5 against Conduit Esports Retribution. Can Conduit come back from it and go for a reverse sweep? Well, you're in the right place to find out. I'm Caleb Pang. I'm joined by Rap. How you doing, Rap?
I'm doing good. I've been shocked at just how dominant TFF has been this series. I thought this would be a lot closer so far, but it hasn't quite lived up to the expectations that we were hoping for so far. But that's okay. That is all okay. There is still a chance for the reverse sweep to come through, and this is where, if it's gonna happen, this is where it's got to happen for Conduit.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, again, this is both teams went to game 5s in their quarter and semifinals. So that's 4 game 5s between the two of them in the past 2 weeks of the playoffs. So if it's going to happen again, this is definitely the time that Conduit want to make it happen again. But I think TFF Alfstronauts doesn't want to drag it out all the way to game 5. But you know, in these situations, you could definitely, you know, be a little disheartened, right, if you're a Conduit player or fan. But again, anything can happen in these series, and it's happened in the past. So we'll see how that goes. For those that are joining in, this is Fearless format. So the first 20 champions that were picked up in the past 2 games are not eligible for the upcoming games. And, you know, I know that sometimes the champ mastery depth can be at question, but like I said, between these 2 teams, I don't think that's going to be a problem because both of them played a lot of best of 5s already leading up to this too. But actually, reflecting on the last 2 games, Rap, what do you think can be done better from the side of Conduit? Because I think TFF is doing everything they can, right, to secure the lead and just maintain it and just end the game in dominant fashion before 30-minute mark in both games. But where is Conduit falling short here?
I feel like Conduit's issue is that they are playing the game they're just not on the same page. Their jungler, especially Titan, is constantly getting in too far, going too far out of his team, getting into a fight either with the top laner or the support player onto members of TFF, and it's just no one to follow him up. And they're never in position together. And I think that's really where I need to see Conduit step it up. I need to see them get on the same page because they're letting things slip. And I also think they need to really lock down Alf. Like, they have to deal with this guy. He's a menace in the mid lane. He's been tearing it up. He's been the hard carry both games so far. They've got to do something about him. If they don't, he's just going to run away with it again. Like, maybe some more mid-ban targets? I don't know, but there's got to be some option for them here.
Yeah, Alfson definitely a superstar for the side of TFF, but I feel like also everyone on TFF just doing their roles really well, right? I mean, Ultimize just putting so much pressure on that top lane. Even like Ultimize was like the most killable person last game, but even then, like Ultimize was hard to take down and would take a couple members by himself too, and it was still like the highest level champ throughout the game, even though he died the most on his team. So just like has so much, you know, map pressure all the way throughout. And then, you know, Chrome Alone, Swivel, Barlow really came alive that last game too, right? Just doing so, I mean, they just weren't behind at all and in any way, shape, or form. So we're going to see if Conduit can make the comeback and the reverse sweep. I'm sure, you know, people are dying to hear the Silver Scrapes music going to game 5 if you're a Conduit fan. But they got 2 other games to win to even have to think about that, as hopefully they make the adjustment for this game number 3. If you missed it earlier in our broadcast, these are the All-Pro Team and MVP awards for Divinity League during this winter split. And you know, again, we were talking about this before. There's a couple members of TFF on here. Actually, all 5 members are on here in some way, shape, or form, but none from Conduit, which really goes to show how far Conduit has come along throughout the season and in the postseason to make it to this grand finals. And I believe that they can take at least 1 game off TFF. I don't know about the reverse sweep, but I think they have what it takes to at least make this an interesting series and not a 3-0. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I think that is impressive to see a team that didn't have anyone in the All-Pro voting still end up making it to the final. And I'm really hoping they make a comeback here. Like, I want to see them reverse sweep. They've come this far. They can't just let it end here. So here's hoping. Here's hoping.
Yeah, definitely too. I think I remember too. Well, we'll talk about it actually when we get to the draft. As we're heading into the draft here, Conduit is going to be on the blue side again. So they're going to have that first pick. But honestly, I feel like TFF doesn't mind this because it just allows Ultimites to have that counter pick top lane every single time.
Yeah, that's fine for them. They love having that counter pick up there, and it's worked really well for them. They've managed to constantly find opportunities for themselves with that, and Ultimice has just been a rock up there in the top lane. So no surprise there. Twitch ban now. Mordekaiser and Wukong for the side of Conduit makes sense. For the Mordekaiser, they seem to be scared of it. The Wukong, new ban, so that's interesting to see. I think TFF's is going to run the same one, so I'm expecting the Amumu ban to come through right here.
Yeah, that's right. There's going to be the Syndra ban actually from the side of Conduit. So
oh, sorry, for TFF. That's the Amumu from TFF.
Yes, yeah. I think you said that correctly too.
Okay.
But or either way, I think I at least knew what you're saying. But it's going to be a Syndra ban from the side of Conduit. So Alf really strong on a lot of those control mages. So definitely want to ban those out. It's going to be the Ahri first pick for the side of Conduit. Okay, actually no, that's actually it's. Oh yeah, so it's a sideless ban on the for that final slot. But it's going to be an Ahri pickup for the side of Conduit.
Not a bad pick there. So Silas is going to be the ban. It was not Syndra, like you said. So interesting to see that changed up a little bit. But we'll have to just see, what are they going to pick else? Okay, the Misfortune. Okay. I see you. I see you cooking TFF. I see it.
Yeah, Misfortune definitely could be interesting too, especially if you like maybe place a Weaver's Wall in a really good position or just slow him down as well too, right? It could be pretty annoying for Conduit to deal with. And I mean, you know, if you're landing arrows like Chrome Malone was last game, you could definitely land an MF Ball. Ooh, we're gonna get the Zeri pickup. Zeri fresh. Could be interesting too. Sometimes you see Zeri Lulu, Zeri Yumi, but Lulu was already picked up there too. And Yumi Zeri is obviously strong, but there are some drawbacks on that too. It's gonna be the Leona pickup on the side of TFF as their support. So it looks like jungle and top lane still up for grabs on both ends.
Yeah, that's a pretty standard top pick. Support AD carry pick combo.
Yeah.
Leona and Misfortune, they synergize so well. Thresh, the traditional, like really literally traditional counter to Leona. I remember when Thresh first came out and everyone was like, this is the hard counter to Leona because you just flay when she dives in. Their Zenith Blades in, so no, I like this. It's a nice classic matchup. We see Mbessa ban, Skarner, Volibear. It's going to ban Camille. So more focus on the top and the jungle. Both teams have saved those picks for the end all games this series, so no surprise here.
Yeah, we do finally get to see that Skarner ban come through. Maokai getting picked up, and I like this too because you can flex this in both the top and jungle. And knowing TFF, this is probably going to be a Maokai jungle, allowing Ultimites to have that counter pick yet again on the top side. It's going to be the Urgot pickup for Conduits, and let's see how they round this out in the jungle. I don't know what's probably good here too. Probably they already have something tanky with the Thresh as well. It's going to be the Nocturne.
Okay,
interesting too. So
I'm surprised we haven't seen enough Fury at this series.
That's true. Yeah, Neferi is. Oh, Neferi is banned. Okay, so.
Oh, okay. I did not know that.
That would make sense. Yeah. Because Neferi is usually banned in my games too, so I haven't even seen a lot of Neferi myself. But yeah, so Neferi is a little bit too broken right now. So we get the Dr. Mundo pickup from the side of TFF to round things out. I mean, Dr. Mundo is pretty annoying in the late game if you get him up to that part, but the early game Dr. Mundo is definitely going to be a little bit weaker. So I think Gab Dougie Fresh will have probably a little bit easier time in the early game, at least for this game number 3.
Yeah, I think so. A little bit easier of a time dealing with that. I mean, it's still a Mundo. It's going to go where it pleases later on in the game, and that's going to really be painful to deal with, but we'll have to see if they can hold on here. But I want to know, you've asked me every time, so I want to ask you, Caleb, what is your choice for comps
Yeah.
here?
No, that's a good question here. Honestly, I think things look really good for TFF. You know, I think the last two comps look much better for Conduit, but for this one, things look really good, right? I mean, you got the ultimate from Maokai to root things in place. I mean, you got so much CC honestly on the side of TFF. You got Dr. Muno just running you down, and Misfortune very mobile as well too, and just has so much great utility. I think team fight potential, it looks really good for TFF. I mean, Conduit, like, I don't know, like, how do you take this fight if you're Zeri, right? Like, you're just running into a bunch of things like a CC you and stuff, and like, it's a lot. You have to aim all your shots, in a kind of skill-based fashion, whereas Misfortune could just press R, delete a few members, chunk you away, drop a Q here or there. So things look pretty good, I think, for TFF. Now, I will say, I think if Tightened Up picks off Misfortune or maybe the Talia in certain way, shape, or form, it could be okay. But like, those are the really only two targets that this Nocturne route go for. What do you think?
I think that TFF, I think they still have it. I think Mundo just becomes such an unbearable menace in the late game that I don't really see the condition unless Conduit gets their lead. But like, they don't really have a tank killer on their team. I guess the closest would be Urgot. Urgot, I guess, could try to get a lot of damage out. But I just feel like TFF has drafted a team fight comp that is going to run circles. And I just don't see a way that, like, I do see a way, but I think the better option, the better comp here is definitely TFF.
Yeah, this Dr. Muno is gonna be really annoying to deal with. I mean, you might even have to go like Leandries on the Ari or something to like whittle down this health bar, because otherwise it's gonna be really tough. But we are going to head over to the game, and so let's take a look and see how this one shakes out. But this is match point for TFF. And Conduit definitely needs to win at least this game to have a chance here in this series. So a crucial game for both sides of things. Blue side, Conduit. Red side, TFF.
Yeah. All right. This could be the final game of this series. Let's see, though. Can Conduit begin the reverse sweep? Can they get, or can TFF just close it out with a solid 3-0 sweep themselves?
We're going to have to wait and see on that one. But you can see both teams posturing for any potential invades. Looks like that's not going to happen. Nice little ward there by the Raptors. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting, I got to say. Yeah, that Ultimize has been kind of a menace in both games, and he's on a champ that could easily be a menace throughout this one, too.
I want to see how much roaming Elf does on this Talia post 6. Talia's big strength is her ability to shove the wave and just roam. So I want to see how he handles that. Where is he going to put the priority? Is it going to be in the top side? Are you going to see them try to get this Mundo head? Is it going to be bot? Or are they going to try to snowball Misfortune with Leona? Who knows? But we do have the split screen, and I do love me some split screen.
All right, and keep your eyes on Alf this game, right? Because Alf's been kind of a superstar throughout the series. You could say arguably throughout the whole season, but definitely has been putting the team on his back. And I don't know, I can't even say team on his back. His whole team playing really well, but definitely been winning a lot of these trades in this mid lane matchup here. Rest of the lanes look fairly, I guess, even, I gotta say. I mean, I think the bottom lane for TFF is definitely a bit stronger on the early game, but Zeri level 6 definitely changes things a bit. Looks like a decent amount of harass, though, from the side of TFF to kind of slow things down a bit. And Alf just doing Alf things in this mid lane matchup against Theresen.
Theresen, yeah, like just taking a lot in the trade. Alf's just been winning this out, and Ultimize is down in health right now, but still been very effective in every game so far. Did really well in the Aatrox matchup in game number 1. Did really well with the Alawi in game number 2. Now on the Mundo, just showing slowly becoming tankier. Like if so, I have to ask, if TFF loses this game, what does Ultimize do next? If he's getting beefier, how much beefier can you really get than Mundo?
Oh, you gotta go Cho'Gath next, right?
Oh, you're right. Just the
Just
increasing
actually
scaling
grow
up.
in
Okay.
size. Yeah, yeah.
Ultimate, I'm expecting a Cho'Gath here. If it goes to game number 5, I actually really don't know what option you pick in that point. Maybe Scion?
Sion's the choice too. Yeah, maybe Sion
Oh.
and then Cho'Gath, but
Yeah, Cho'Gath gets a
definitely,
little bit more health.
yeah, definitely playing the beefcakes in these series,
Yeah.
and definitely really good too. I mean, if you're Chrome alone, this is a really solid game for you because our team composition for you, right? Because you got such a strong front line. You got the Dr. Mundo, you got the Maokai, you got the Leona. Like even if Ultimice is doing Ultimice things and split pushing, you still have two really strong tanks to just provide so much coverage for you. Like the tough part here for Conduit is how do you get to this misfortune, right? Besides Titan Duff, just diving in, right? But outside of Titan Duff, it's gonna be well. I guess there's a decent amount of dashes on the Aryan's area, so it's not impossible, but
Yeah,
this
everyone has
misfortune's
a
well
way in.
protected.
You have Urgot dash in, flip someone over, so now he's in between them and the tank. Oh, hang on.
Ooh, okay, Darison going to get called out there, but luckily the first blood does go over to Barlow on the Leona, so maybe not the worst case scenario, but does get caught. Maybe we might be able to get to replay there. Might have just been out of position as going for some vision, I'm not sure, but the kill does go over to Leona, the assist to Swivel's Maokai.
Yeah, and honestly, like, if you have a Maokai jungle, I mean, it's good to get items on him, but Maokai is pretty self-sustaining even without items. I think it's fine to give it to the Leona. You're going to want the Leona to be a little extra tanky, especially if your Mundo's going to be split pushing all game. So getting a little bit of extra health at him, get to that tanking a bit earlier, maybe even get to lock it quicker, which or Night Style, which in the case of a Misfortune could be a very useful tool with all that dive that's on the side of Conduit. So I wouldn't say it's the worst thing. It's Kindle Gems is going to be able to get the CC down a little bit more in the lane. It could make the difference between whether they get a pick or not or force flashes. So I could see there being value. Early kills on a support I don't think are the worst. And I'm not saying that as a biased support main. I think there are certain supports that getting early gold on is okay. Senna, Seraphine, Soraka, champions that can utilize more items. Now, if it was like Thresh, I'd be like, if it had been like Draconical, I'd be like, oh, that sucks because like Draconical's not going to do much with any of that being Thresh and doesn't really need items. But this Dragon here.
Here we go. It is going to be secured by TFF. The health bars are kind of low, but they are aggressively going in. Bam actually flashes in for some extra damage. Darison picks up the kill on Swivel. Barlow goes down to Bam as well. Things are looking quite good for Conduit so far. Chrome Malone is out of mana as well, and they secure the Beasts of Warfare. And it looks like another kill goes over. Bam is going to take down Alf as well. So a 4-for-0 trade is fantastic for the side of Conduit. Yes, they lose to Drake, but I think that's okay with them.
Yeah, I mean they lost the Drake. It's just a single Chem Dragon, not the biggest deal, but Conduit finally won a team fight. We see them here. They managed to get Swivel. Swivel was already really low, so he was kind of going to be dead in that fight no matter what. But the rest of TFF comes in late, and I'll be honest, this is a comp that doesn't really do great until 6. Like, they really need their ultimates to be, like, the big threats that we know they can. Chrome alone, and the Leona here, and the Maokai. Like, those ultimates are really what are going to help define their success in this game. So fighting without them was going to be a bad result, especially with the Ahri already there, and they've already pushed the jungler out. But that's not taking credit away from Conduit. Conduit found a good opportunity. They finally found a good fight. They finally found a good lead, and now they're looking topside. They might try to go for Ultimize here.
Yeah, they're positioned here too. I mean, and they get the grubs as well. So Titan Duff is around the area. Looks like Ultimize is going to try to back here. So they're going to try to reset here. But something that really went well for Conduit as well on top of that is that they fed both of those, or all 4 of those kills to the Ahri and the Zeri, respectively. So that's really nice to getting that damage, or getting that gold onto your carries. As you see, the dive is going to continue here as Ultimate does finally go down to Gav Dougie fresh, but it's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. So not the worst case scenario, and you drew a lot of attention over to this top side here. Look like Darison's going to just shove this wave in at least to get maximum advantage in this situation. But you know, again, Ultimize still holding his own, right? I mean, this is kind of what you had to deal with as a top laner sometimes, but Ultimize doing a really great job of negating a lot of that pressure or even just grabbing a kill for himself. As meanwhile, this bottom lane is going to struggle a little bit here too because they sent a lot of their support up to that top side. Bam's going to have to recall. And meanwhile, Titan Duff going call in a really tough position. Seismic Shove is actually going to push Titan Duff towards Alpha, and Alpha is going to pick up that kill. So just like that, the score is now of 5-3.
Yeah, just like that. TFF getting back into it. A good job, I want to say, on the top start of that. Ultimice managing to get the trade kill despite all 3 people kind of diving him like that. So good job making the trade. And then on the bottom side too, knowing, hey, they're going to have probably back after that. They got a little low. Titan's probably going to be at red. Let's just rotate down there and get this kill. And they do. And now Alf in a good solid spot, has a nice 15 CS lead, is catching up a bit in the kills, is still basically even, I think, with Garrison and gold overall. So good play by them, and the gold lead only 400 gold. That's all that separates these teams right now. That is nothing.
Yeah, interesting control war placement from Draco there. I think maybe just missed the bush by you know, an inch there. But I gotta say too, really Alf made a lot of value, I think, when Garrison was on that top side against Dr. Mundo, because it took a while for them to take down Ultimize, right? I think they attempted like 2 separate times. I thought it was a replay when it actually was happening live because they were already there. Because of that too, I think Alf's going to tick into that level 8 much sooner. Yeah, as you can see here too, is level 8 before Garrison is. So this 1v1 matchup can still be pretty annoying for Garrison, even though Garrison has 2 kills to his name in this spot so far. Gold differential slightly favoring Conduit, but nothing too crazy here as the next set of Drake is going to start. Oh, we get the double ultimate comes from Leona and the MF. Chrome Malone's ultimate, though, did not really land and do that much damage. So overall, not too bad for the side of Conduit, because they still have at least their ultimates up for this fight, and that could be crucial as the next Drake is starting to spawn soon.
Yeah, you know, the one downside to Misfortune Leona is if Leona's range is a little bit further than Misfortune's ult, so it can be you can sometimes a little far on getting those picks, but that's okay. They did get the flash out of them, so little advantage there. And you know, it's still just, you know, it's slowing down a little bit. I know there was that fight, but overall it is slowing down a little bit in this game. Not too much aggression. Right now, everyone taking a moment to breathe, especially with this dragon coming up in 4 seconds. And Doogie's on the way down. Doogie is going to pick up this fruit and... Okay, never mind. It's going to go back. I thought I was going to come down and try to maybe help the team out, especially because there's no teleport on Ultimize. But this is going to go back up there and deal with it. And it is Conduit, first one onto the dragon. But there are members of TFF here. Everyone's kind of rotated into position, and they go right in!
Oh, and they're looking to maybe catch Bam, but Bam actually somehow gets out. But no, Nature Scrap is going to shut down Bam right there. Alf comes in with the Weaver's Wall. Great seismic shove as well, and Draco is completely locked down, has nowhere to go. Just not enough vision in this bottom Drake area to take the fight. But TFF had plenty of vision in that one, so they're going to definitely even up the score and grab a Drake to their name. Conduit has to maybe settle for some grubs, but I don't know if if they could grab that. So that's going to be 2 Drakes going over to TFF yet again, and this is looking a little bit like deja vu from last game. Obviously, the early game is not as heavily one-sided, but TFF getting back into this game.
Yeah, they've managed to get a 2K gold, almost 2K gold lead, about 1,500 gold. They're managing to get their second dragon of the game, and TFF, a little shaky start, but like you said, they are looking like they're getting back into it. They had a beautiful catch there onto Bam, and while he got away for a moment and they forced the Nocturne ult from Titan to save him, he still gets caught out. Titan's forced to flee. It costs Draconical his life, and yeah, they're getting these really well set up fights. A beautiful fight overall from them, and especially the engage from the side of Swevel, going in, looking, and Barlow looking for Bam. On this top side, Ultimize might be in trouble.
Yeah, Fear Beyond Death is going to catch him. I mean, you know, what's new, right? Ultimize getting ganked from most members from Conduit. Conduit does pick up the 6 grubs, though, so they're going to even up the objectives, which is definitely solid for them. But, you know, the thing is, if they grab one more objective, they are going to get the feature strength, just like last game. But again, the way the objectives are shaking out, just like game number 2, I don't think it matters too much, as Nature Scraps is going to start connecting, and Titan Dove avoids it with the spell shield. However, Gab Fresh is quite low at this point in time. Can't really fight it off. Can Titan Dove get out is a real question. Doesn't look like that's going to be the case. And Swevel going to feed that kill over to Alf, the carry in. Just like that, Alf has a decent-sized bounty on his head and is quite ahead now in gold as well. And has still that level advantage, too.
I'm trying to find good Alf quotes to make. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen the show Alf, but I can't find any good for the situation other than the haha, I kill myself, because that's probably what he's thinking. He's probably laughing with how good his plays have been. He's like, this is great. I'm just having the time of my life here. Alf has just been such a monster in these games, and his team knows it. They're feeding him kills. They're like, let's give it to Alf. He'll carry the game, or at least he'll get us to the point that Chrome alone can get the Misfortune completely online. And TFF is just they're doing it again. They're finding picks. They're roaming around the maps. They have the early a little early issues. That's okay. They're just gonna force it until Conduit makes a mistake and steps too far forward, and it's working. Now up 2k gold. They've got another dragon in 2.5 minutes. It's gonna be Cloud Soul, which with Mundo and Maokai is very, very scary. Considering they're both just gonna run you down whenever they ult. And it's looking good, but Conduit, they're still in this. You know, they had that early lead. They still have the opportunities. They have a very strong Urgot, and their carries do have quite a couple kills on them. So, let's see if they're going to adapt. Titan, I mean, maybe this is it. Maybe he finds something right here.
All right, Controller is going to spot him out here, too. Barlow and Chrome is going to be able to get a way to safety here, as doesn't look like Titan Duff is going to go for that kill. Meanwhile, we do get a turret going down onto the side of Conduit. Oh, Titan Duff is going to ult the Dr. Mundo, and Ultimize unfortunately cannot get out. The ultimate not nearly as potent as the Lally one is. So it does go down, but picks up the turret, which is kind of nice. Looks like the feats of strength, though, have gone over to the side of Conduit.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. So they were able to get the first turret as well, and obviously the first 3 kills. So that is going to secure for them, but it didn't really make a huge difference in the second game. Let's see if it makes a difference in this game, because they really need it to. As you see, the goal differential is still going to favor TFF.
Yeah. I've actually heard from some higher level players, and I don't know if this is still true following recent patches, but the feats of strength boots actually are kind of a bait, especially early on, is what I've heard from them, or at least some of them are. So I think while it is great, it's not like a really big win. Yeah. It's just a little bit of extra stats, but hang on, Barlow has been caught
Quite a bit, but Leona is not the easiest target to shut down, as Time does chunk away Gab Dougie's health bars. And we see the box being thrown down too, but not really doing much. Titan Duff is going to get out here, as Alf is unstoppable. Bam trying to do whatever he can to do some extra damage, but not enough. Darison finally picks up one member. All the members on TFF are quite low. Can this be a cleanup for Darison, or does Darison fall just like the other team members? And that is going to be the case, as we get a double kill actually going over to Barlow's Leona, who I thought was going to be the first one to die in the fight, but actually not quite it. So 3-1-3 on this Leona. This Leona is going to be fed, and let's not forget too, Ultimize was just split pushing the entire time. So that was a 4v5 that TFF took there.
Yeah, they just straight up just took a 4v5. Starts with this catch on, not really a catch on Draconical. It's more of they catch Barlow out. Dougie does. But they set up Chrome alone for the perfect setup for the ultimate. 3 people right there. Make it 4, because Titan Duff took a little bit of the end of that, taking the full ultimate. And Dougie gets so low, just gets shredded right away as that breaks out. The Maokai there with Swevel just buying space to take out Draconical. And it looks like this might just be a clean fight, but the members get low. Darison comes in, manages to take out Chrome alone pretty early right there. And then it's just the members of TFF body blocking for Alf. Like, we need to prevent him from getting charmed. He needs to win the fight for us. And they managed to secure it. Though Darison, I gotta say, did a really good job at least getting 2 picks off that, preventing it from being a clean wipe, but still a rough position at the end.
All right, and it's going to be another Drake fight here. Looks like this one's going to go over the side of TFF as Nature Scraps is going to push all members back. Draco actually trying to hook someone in, but I don't know if you really want to hook them in. Ultimice is starting to run people down now on this Dr. Mundo, feeling pretty confident with the rest of the team here. The Charmed actually comes through on Barrelo, but the Zenith Blade blocks the Darison down, and actually looks like Dovguvy Fretch goes down as well. Another member, Draco, goes down, and things are looking pretty scary if you're a Conduit fan, because things are starting to snowball a bit out of control for TFF.
Yeah, and they're probably panicking a little bit too. They're like, oh, our lead is gone. They're really coming back. We got to do something. But they come too late to the fight, and then they hang out way too long. Barlow's got the time to just sit there, wait for his team to get there, lock them down with all that CC, and then once they're locked down, once everyone's gone, there's no hope for getting out of it. And TFF just ripping it up right now. And actually, hang on, I thought Conduit already got the feat.
Yeah, it looks like maybe TFF were the ones to get who got the feat somehow. Yeah, because they got it with the Drake, I guess. Oh yeah, so they must have got it with the Drake. So I think yeah, because they got the first turret actually.
Yeah,
so,
okay, that makes sense. I thought I saw it earlier on Conduit. So the boots don't even matter then. And TFF, just don't fall for the bait. You don't need the boots right now. Just buy items. Boots are really just a good accessory at the end, unless you are buying. I want to say it's the Greaves upgrade. I forgot the name of it off the top of my head, but that might be a good one. Ooh, and now the Mundo wins the 1v1 against Urgot, so that's not good. That is not good for Jiggy to lose that. That means that Mundo can go where he pleases, and that is the worst situation when you're playing into a Mundo to see.
Yep, and he has the Heartsteel finished up as well too, so this guy's only going to get beefier and beefier as time goes on. I mean, this is not a fun time. I mean, look at that. And he has a 2-level advantage as well. You got Gab Fresh fighting in the middle of a minion wave on top of it, so things are not going well here as Ultimize is going to grab, just a small chunk of change, 186 gold there, but he'll take it as it's going to just help him snowball a bit further. If you are Conduit, you need to do whatever you can. Grabbing blue buff with the hook is the least of your concerns, I think, at this point in time. But Draco trying to do whatever he can as a support here at this point. But, Titan Dove is actually in a small predicament here. Weaver's Wall is going to come through, but it is going to actually split off the side of
they got one.
too. And, yeah, the Nature Scrap is going to catch the Thresh. Draco is going to be called out. The Seismic Shove is going to push him back, so Alpha is going to pick up that kill. Just a Thresh, but any kill at this point is still very solid. Oh, there's actually TPs to that turret. I don't know about that TP, but does get to safety. Turret does go down now, as it looks like TFF trying to end this game in record fashion. Ultimize is going to be chunked to bits, but this Dr. Mundo does not go down easily, as Seismic Shove is going to push down. The Bull Time comes through and takes down 2 members. Alpha actually grabs the kill on the Urgot, and actually the Nocturne too, but a lot of damage coming through from Chroma Lone's Misfortune there, as Alpha's looking pretty thick at this point too in terms of gold. 8-1 and 6, 650 shut down as well too. Bounties on both bot laners as well. I mean, this Leon is honestly more fed than most supports I've seen in quite a while, as it looks like TFF is going to grab up this Ruinous Otacon. I guess the best part, the silver lining here is at least it's not a Voracious Otacon for Conduit, but that's about the only silver lining I can see right now.
Yeah, but the XP will be really nice for them to get, and I just gonna pop all this. I think everyone should get a level off of that, and it's just getting from bad to worse for Conduit. It's just they're so strong. Ultimice now probably can take this 2v1. I mean, look how much damage he's doing to Darius. Oh, well, yeah, he hasn't ulted yet. Hang on, wait for him to ult, and then once he ults. Or he doesn't even need to. He just waits for the Warmog to pop back
yeah,
up.
Yeah. All that work just for the Dr. Moon to stay in lane and continue farming, which is never a fun time. But the problem is they can't kill him, right? Like, even if he doesn't kill anyone, he can't be killed, and he's already at 200 plus CS at this point too. So he's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger. Meanwhile, the rest of TFF is going to scout out this jungle. This used to be Conduit's jungle, but it looks like it's going to be TFF's jungle now. As we see the double flash come through, both jungles going to spend it, but at least Titan Dove survives in that situation. I'm sorry?
Oh, I was saying Ultimize is holding TP. Oh, there it is.
Yes.
He was waiting. He was just waiting to get a couple extra items. You can see there He's got the Tiamat, and he's got that. I always forget the name of that little drill is, but yeah, he's just kind of
Tunneler.
yeah. Thank you, Tunneler. He's got Tunneler. He was just waiting and for the possibility a fight might break out to teleport behind, but they're just gonna go in. They're gonna take the dragon. And that soul, that is now Mundo speeding at you with Maokai at the speed of light. And if I'm Conduit, I'm sweating a little bit. I'm sweating a little bit. And we were again, like we were saying, there's really not a lot of tank shredding on their team. Like I guess you've got the Urgot, but that's it. You really like Zeri isn't the greatest tank killer. Ari is definitely not a good tank killer. Nocturne, I mean he has DPS, but like he's not gonna get that much time, especially with only one item to really fight the tank. So this front line for TFF is becoming just nearly unkillable for Conduit. They do get a turret, so they are back in that at least. They got that. Oh, the Weaver's Wall.
Wait, hold on. They don't spot it out. Oh, it gets the TP right away. So, nice little cheeky maneuver there too. But I like the guts there from the Conduit to just recall right there. Both the ultimates spent, Weaver's Wall and Nature's Grasp actually, but they just did not have vision of that bush. I think you know, if you just threw a thread and volley in that general direction with vision, that would have been fine. But either way, things are still looking pretty good for TFF as they look to secure another turret here. And Ultimice chunked a bit, but this Warmock's going to kick in any point now. And look like they're just trying to buy some spacing for this Baron, which is going to be spawning in 45 seconds. They might even end the game before then, but you know, if they don't, they'll definitely surely be going for that Baron play. I don't know what you do at this point. I think
they go for the Baron because they don't have Maokai ult yet. I mean, it's almost back up. The cooldowns are pretty low at this point. But I think without the Maokai ult and the Weaver's Wall, not quite in a position to end the game just yet. They still need to. They're gonna need those to really just get the quick pick and flip the fight. I mean, there are some they can't deal with tanks super great, but Conduit is still scary. I mean, it is a 4/3 Ari. It is a pretty farmed up Zeri. She is almost on 3 items, so you still gotta respect it. And I appreciate TFF not just getting too lost in the sauce and just losing their minds and going on some crazy plays. They're taking it nice and slow. They don't want to give this up. They want this championship. They can smell it. They can taste it. They know it is on the way. These astronauts are on their way, and they just need to just pilot their ship slow and steady. The Baron is up. They might go for it shortly, and Barlow just the ballsy support walking forward trying to steal the buffs.
Yeah, I mean, this Leona's pretty big in her own right. Meanwhile, you got Ultimate just shoving in this bot lane by himself. So look at this. Conduit just has to respond to Ultimate at this point, too. Level 16. And takes down Gab Dougie Fresh in a 1v1 here, too. I think Ultimate might finally go down. Oh, actually flashes forward here. Oh my gosh, look at that damage. Titanic Hydra doing Titanic Hydra things, and Ultimate doing Ultimate things. Is able to grab one of the kills in the process. Actually takes out Gab Dougie Fresh before that, too. So it grabs 2 kills and brings the entire rest of Conduit over. And almost grabs even another kill. At least Bam got the shutdown there, but meanwhile, they were able to get Baron, and this is going to be a lot of damage to their structures after the case. It looks like this middle turret is going to go down. Inhibitor soon to follow shortly after, and unfortunately just doesn't have a lot of resources to contest this, too. I mean, just look at the level difference as well between these members, right? I mean, you got Barlow the same level as the top laner of Conduit, which is not what you want to see if you're a Conduit fan. This game might be shortly over soon as they are trying to slow down the pace here, and Ultimate is not even alive for this fight yet, but just so much damage coming from the Baron buff as well, and TFF might not be getting too greedy with it, knowing that they are at least outnumbered in this specific fight, but they do have all the ultimates up.
I think they're just going to back up here, get the gold, and then just regroup with Ultimice. That was just absurd, though. I was like, oh, he's going to die here. I mean, they've got Executioners on the Zeri, so obviously, and they've got the Oblivion Orb on Ari, so obviously they can't heal. But that Titanic Hydra, he almost one-shot Bam and Darrison at the same time. That was just ridiculous. We can watch it again in the replay. Ultimice just shoving the wave. Dougie, I don't know how he died. Looks like he's scared. Like he knows this is not the fight I want to take. Oh my god, just the damage from Mundo. he goes where he pleases, man. He goes where he pleases, and he does not care. And then the Nocturne ult gets burned here. Almost just takes the turret right there, too. And it looks like right here, okay, it's done. They burned him. He's not going to heal much. But then the Heartsteel stack, the Titan. It's just so... It was really actually, I think, most of that Heartsteel stack. It was an insane amount of damage coming out from that stack. Because it does scale with your max health. And the Mundo health, can we get a stat check on Mundo's health? I actually don't know exactly how much health he has right now.
Yeah, he's got a good chunk as he's just going to take a couple tower shots before forgetting to take the turret. It's like, oh, I gotta go back and just swing at it one time to end
that's
it.
game.
Speaking of ending things, the game is going to be going over to TFF in phenomenal fashion here. Under 30 minutes in all 3 games, and they are going to be your Divinity League grand champions here with a 3-0 sweep over Conduit Esports Retribution. And what a fantastic way to end things if you're a TFF fan.
7,800 health on the Mundo. My God, what a performance from the Alfstronauts. They went to the one place that the other teams in Divinity couldn't find them, space, and they have conquered it. They have conquered it. They have gotten the championship in the Divinity League. Congratulations to them. I'm seeing in the chat, it's all over. Alf has a championship. He is the king. He is. The whole team is just insane. Every member on this team just did so phenomenally well today, and just they were like, we're not playing more like the quarters. We're not playing like the semis. This is done. We want this done quick.
Oh, definitely. I mean, just look at that damage as well, too. To no surprise as well, right? Like we said, TFF Alfstronauts, their entire team was on some way, shape, or form on that All-Pro slide there from the season's performance, but they performed in the postseason as well. Coming in at the 4th seed, going into playoffs from their group, so the lowest seed from their groups, making it all the way to grand finals, fighting 2 Game 5s in this quarterfinals and semifinals, leading all the way up to grand finals. Said, you know what, we're trying to end it on an early night here too, so it's going to be a 3-0 finish for them. Fantastic stuff from the entire crew. I mean, even that Leona was just putting in so much work and damage in that final game as well from Barlow. So big congrats to TFF. They are going to be your champions for the winter 2025 splits. But yeah, thoughts on the games wrap?
I thought that it was. I thought it was going to be a lot closer, but TFF, like, they really just had the number of Conduit. And I mean, Conduit really did try to put the effort. They should not feel ashamed. You know, they were the lowest seed from their group, and they still made the final, and they still put up a good performance, especially in that game 3. That early game was looking really good for them. You know, they can hold their heads high. They can hold their heads high knowing that they did such a good job making it here. So congratulations to them. Congratulations to TFF. There's just so much to break down. I can't even break it down right now. But if you want a more breakdown of this series and the matches, wait for Titan After Dark coming up next week, I am being told, for a more of a breakdown with Sherigan, our resident master of breaking down the games.
All right.
Viewer discretion is advised, I am being told on the stream.
Yes.
Viewer discretion is advised.
I did tune into this past week's episode as well for a bit, so definitely something worth checking out too, especially whether live or maybe you're stuck in traffic somewhere and want to tune in to help pass the time. It's going to be a fun time as well. And of course, if you want to support Titan Esports, we got Titan Esports merch at FOFesports.com/Titan. Grab yourself some merch, whether it's winter or summer or whatever it is for you all. Even a month.
I've got some of the older merch that they've made, and it's some good stuff. It's some pretty quality, some very quality merchandise. I think it's fantastic, and you can get a Sunga and Sems mug. Support your favorite tournament organizers with their mugs.
Yeah, with the signature as well too.
Yeah, sig. Get that signature. Get their autograph before they blow up and become the heads of all League Esports.
Yeah, definitely. And for anyone tuning into Titan Esports maybe for the first time as well, Something to note is, these are grassroots events, and you too can participate if you like. Like I said, Divinity League is Emerald 4 and below, but a lot of these players aren't playing like Emerald 4 or below players. They're playing definitely top notch gameplay. So really great time to just play with some friends and make some great memories as well. And big shout out to all the teams that participated in this splits. But we have more action for you all down the road. So I think it's going to wrap it up for us. But any final words, Rap?
Yeah. Uh, hmm. Hmm. Oh, I'm hearing that we are going to have a transfer of this stream over to Titan 2. So keep an eye on that for the other finals going on right now. Production, can you tell me one more time what that score line is? All right. All right. It's currently 2 wins over there for OG. So if you want to take a look at that, stick around or head straight on over to Titan Esports 2 for more Titan Esports action. Oh, oh, okay.
Okay,
We actually might
we're
have to go
actually
to
going
an
to take a quick
intermission.
break.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to take a quick break, but we got to get Alf himself, or at least someone from TFF Astronauts on for a quick interview. So stay tuned for that one. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back everyone to Titan Esports Divinity League. We have just wrapped up the grand finals, and of course, we can't end things without an interview from our winners here. So I'm joined by Alf from TFF Alfstronauts. Alf, how you doing? How you feeling after that win?
Man, I am feeling fantastic. It's a championship has eluded me for quite some time, so it feels really good to finally do it and do it in a dominant fashion where I didn't feel like I got carried. So
Oh, definitely. You definitely flipped the narrative on the other way, shape or form, because you were definitely doing some carrying yourself. I know for those that might have just tuned into the grand finals, it didn't maybe look like such a hard road, but I know in the playoffs, it went to game 5 for both the quarters and the semifinals for both teams, really, but for you all as well. But just talk us through, how was the regular season as well too? Because I know you all qualified in that 4th seed slot from the regular season. But doesn't matter.
yeah,
4th seed, 1st seed, still got the win.
yeah. Man, I mean, I think that this season was kind of it had its ups and downs. I mean, I never wavered in my knowing that my team was good enough to win this championship. I knew that was a certainty, so it was just a matter of how we played every week. Um,
Mhm.
During the regular season, we had the first 4 weeks were pretty easy wins. Uh, then we played against, I think it was IG who beat us the first time, and we got kind of crushed. So that was our first reality check. Uh, and then we played with a sub in the last game of our regular season and lost that. Uh, so that didn't feel too good either. But winning the first game of the playoffs like made me believe again. Like
Mm.
there was no doubt in my mind that we could win. Especially, I just think we were a good matchup into Monkey Supreme. We were a little afraid of getting past Tropics, but once we got out of there, I think everyone knew that it was headed this way. At least felt that it was headed this way.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and those best of fives, so you're really going to have to test the champion mastery, but seemed like that was not lacking on your side of things. I don't know if you know about this yet, too, because we did reveal it during the grand finals between the games, but there was an all pro graphics for
Yeah,
Divinity League, and everyone on your team made it in some way, shape, or form, either on first, second, or third all pro team. So really
yeah.
goes to show, kind of a team effort across the board from your team. But anything you want to share about that?
About the All Pro awards.
Or you were just the general team dynamic in general too, leading up to this. I know you said there were definitely some struggles there, but you all really clutched
Yeah,
up in the postseason.
yeah. I'll cover both of those. I'll try to kill two birds with one stone here. As for the player awards, that's the easiest to talk about. I think Chrome was robbed. I think he was by far the best AD carry in the league. This split, I know it's not necessarily a direct rating indicator, but
Uh-huh.
uh, Chrome and Stepbro, who got first team, are .01 away, and Chrome beat him twice, and JC went undefeated in regular season, then got first rounded. So I mean, I guess it's just the time at which these were collected.
Mhm.
Um, but as for the team dynamic, I mean, I think uh, I think we like when things were going well. I don't think there was a team that stood a chance. It was some teams identified it like trying to tilt us was probably the best strategy because everyone on that team really wanted to win and was really competitive, and sometimes our ideas of how to win weren't aligned, and obviously that can create some tensions. But at the end of the day, like we played some of the most grueling games that I've ever played, and we came out the other end. So it doesn't really matter, uh, you know, the negative parts that took place on the way there. I really love playing with my team. I really do. Like, Barolo is super smart about the game. Always a good time in voice comms when we're not playing. Chrome is untiltable and really chill. Ben or Swevel is the best jungler I've ever played with and my favorite jungler to play with. And then Ultimice is just probably the best player in this entire league, in my opinion. So I think it came together really nicely, and I'm really happy it was with them that I did it.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, let's not forget you too. I mean, there were multiple games where I see like, you're behind early or you're chunked out in the mid lane, but you're still somehow just 1v1ing people off map and stuff anywhere you go. So definitely a lot coming together, especially in this grand finals. What's the future for TFF Astronauts, for future plans for future splits and stuff? We see a run back?
No, I don't think so. I think we're playing in funnily enough, I'm playing in BOL with the jungle and support on the team that we just beat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's an interesting.
Nice.
Ultimice is going to a different team. Chrome's going to a different team as well. I don't know. It was never really our plan to play in both splits, but um, like, we just really enjoy playing with each other, and I think it's going to be fun to play against them now.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Well, it'll be. I guess you'll be trying to match Ultimice's splits and split laning in some way, shape, or form, and hopefully, it goes better than it did for Conduit, because there were some interesting highlights in those fights. But anyway, yeah, big congrats again either way to your entire team, whether you all go your separate ways or not. This is still definitely a fantastic memory to have and to share with each other. Is there anything that you want to add that I might have not asked you in this interview, and any
Yeah,
shout outs you'd like to give as well too?
yeah. I want to give, firstly, I want to give a giant shout out to my coach Elton. He's been with me through thick and thin and has always stepped up to coach me and dedicate a lot of his time to help my teams. And so far, it hasn't worked out up until now, but he's a giant reason that we won our series. He's extremely helpful, and he's a great guy and a good friend of mine.
Mhm.
And then just a shout out to obviously my teammates and Yomi and uh, Poodle sitting on the bench, my great friends as well. So yeah, I'm very happy. That's all
It's
I can
awesome.
say.
Awesome. Well, I'll let you go and celebrate your victory. I'm sure you have other stuff to do as well, and probably work duties in the
Yeah,
morning. So appreciate you joining on and sharing your thoughts. And shout out to everyone that stayed in and tuned in, and all the TFF fans too. I know there are a lot of TFF Alfstronauts fans in the chat, and a big shout out to Sherrigan on production, Loki on Observer, and of course my co-caster Rap. But that's going to do it for us. And be sure to head over to Titan Esports too, because I know they have their own Eternal League finals going on. So see
could I
you
give
there.
one more shout out? Sorry,
Yeah, of course.
last minute.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
I completely forgot. Shout out also to OTF, who was my lane coach and helped me out a lot during the season. I completely forgot to give him the shout out, but that's it.
Uh,
That's all I got.
it's all good. It's all good. Well, appreciate you joining on again, Alf, and hope you have a good one. Hope everyone else has a good evening as well. Until next time, we'll catch you all on the next split. Peace out.
Thanks, guys.